We're told that destiny is sacred, that the moon goddess weaves perfect bonds between souls, that your fated mate is the other half of your spirit, the one person in all the world who will love you unconditionally. We grow up on stories where the mate bond is salvation, where recognition means forever, where destiny guarantees devotion. But when you're standing in front of the entire pack, feeling the golden thread of fate connect you to a man who looks at you like you're nothing, like you're less than nothing, you learn the devastating truth. Destiny doesn't give a damn about your heart. The mate bond can be the cruelest curse the moon goddess ever created. Because what happens when your destined mate takes one look at you and says the words that will shatter your world? What happens when the bond that's supposed to complete you becomes the thing that destroys you? What happens when the man fated to love you can't even stand to touch you? I can tell you exactly what happens. You discover that some fates are worse than death. You learn that rejection isn't just a word, it's a severing, a violence, a death of the future you thought was promised. You realize that everything you believed about love, about worth, about your place in this world, was built on a foundation of lies. And when you're broken into so many pieces you can't even remember what whole felt like, when you've been cast aside by destiny itself, that's when something far more dangerous than fate finds you. That's when the Alpha King decides you belong to him, not because of destiny, not because of some sacred bond written in the stars, but because he wants you, and what the Alpha King wants, the Alpha King claims. This is the story of how I went from being rejected by the mate the moon goddess chose for me, to being claimed by the most powerful and terrifying wolf in all the territories. The story of how I learned that chosen love is infinitely more powerful and more dangerous than destined love could ever be. My name is Lyra Winterborn, and this is the night everything I knew about fate, about love, about myself, fell apart. This is the night I stopped believing in destiny, and started believing in something far more terrifying. Before we begin Lyra's journey, a quick note. This story is inspired by this book titled Rejected by the Alpha, a glow-up revenge romance that asks the question, what happens when the wolf everyone underestimated becomes the one they all fear? If you love stories where the broken become powerful, you'll want to check it out. Link in the description. Now, let's dive into Lyra's transformation. Chapter 1. The Rejection. The ceremony hall smells like pine and anticipation. I stand at the edge of the crowd, my hands clasped so tightly in front of me that my knuckles have gone white. Around me, wolves from every corner of the crescent moon pack have gathered for the full moon. Gathering the night when unmated wolves often find their destined partners, when the moon goddess's bonds snap into place like lightning finding ground. I've waited 22 years for this feeling, 22 years of watching others find their mates, of seeing their eyes glaze with that telltale golden shimmer, of witnessing the beautiful violence of recognition, 22 years of being the beta's daughter who still hadn't found her match, who was starting to be whispered about in corners, who made the elders exchange worried glances. My wolf has been restless for weeks, pacing beneath my skin like she knows something I don't. Like she's been waiting for this specific night, this specific moment. You're going to wear a hole in the floor, my younger sister May whispers beside me. She found her mate last year, a kind warrior named Thomas, who looks at her like she hung the moon. They're standing together now, his arm around her waist, completely absorbed in each other. I used to be jealous of that. Now I just feel hollow. I can't help it. I murmur back, scanning the crowd. She won't settle. My wolf, I've never named her, never felt separate enough from her to need a name, is practically clawing at my insides. Her attention is fixed on the far side of the hall, where the ranked wolves are gathered, the alphas, the betas, the strongest warriors, and then I smell it. Pine and midnight rain, cedarwood and something wild, something that makes my wolf surge forward so violently I actually stumble. The scent wraps around me like smoke, like a drug, and suddenly, I can't breathe, can't think, can't do anything but follow that scent to its source. Lyra? May's voice sounds distant, concerned, but I'm already moving. The crowd parts instinctively as I walk, though I barely notice. My entire world has narrowed to that scent, to the golden thread I can suddenly feel pulling taut between my ribs and someone across the room. The mate bond. It's real. It's happening. After all these years of waiting, of wondering if I was broken somehow, if the moon goddess had forgotten me, I see him, Callum Thorne, the Alpha's nephew, future head warrior, 6 feet of corded muscle and dark hair, with eyes the color of amber and a jaw that looks carved from granite. He's standing with a group of warriors, laughing at something one of them said, completely unaware that his entire life is about to change, that our lives are about to change. Mate, my wolf whispers. And the word is reverent, awed, complete. I walk toward him like I'm in a dream, like I'm floating. The golden thread between us grows brighter with each step, more tangible, until I swear I could reach out and pluck it like a harp string. He's going to turn around any second now. He's going to smell me, feel the bond snap into place, and his eyes are going to find mine across the room. He's going to smile that devastating smile I've seen him give to other she-wolves, and this time it will be for me. Only for me. Forever for me. I'm 3 feet away when he goes completely still. His head snaps toward me, those amber eyes widening. I watch the recognition slam into him, watch his nostrils flare as he catches my scent. The golden shimmer floods his irises, the unmistakable sign of the mate bond taking hold. Hi, I breathe, and I'm smiling so wide my face hurts. No. The word is flat, hard, final. I blink, my smile faltering. What? Callum takes a step back from me. Actually steps back, like I'm something contagious. His face has gone carefully blank, but I can see the tension in his shoulders, the rigidity in his spine. This is a mistake, he says, and his voice carries across the suddenly silent hall. When did everyone stop talking? When did every eye in the room turn toward us? I don't understand, I say, and I hate how small my voice sounds. The bond, you can feel it, right? You can feel, I feel it. His jaw clenches, and I'm telling you it's a mistake. Something cold is spreading through my chest, drowning the warmth that the mate bond brought. Callum, what are you? You're the beta's daughter. He interrupts, and there's something ugly in his tone now, something that makes my wolf whimper and curl into herself. You're not exactly what I expected in a mate. The hall is completely silent now, hundreds of wolves watching this moment. This conversation that should be private, should be sacred, is instead being performed like theater for the entire pack. What does that mean? My voice shakes. What did you expect? His eyes rake over me, and it's not the heated look I've dreamed about. It's assessment, judgment, dismissal. Someone stronger, he says finally. Someone who can stand beside a head warrior. Someone who can give me powerful heirs. I'm the beta's daughter, I repeat, desperate now. My bloodline is strong, Your wolf is barely delta rank. He cuts in, and the words land like blows. Everyone knows it. You've never even shifted in public because you're ashamed of how small your wolf is, how weak. It's true. All of it is true. And hearing him say it, hearing my mate say it, makes me want to sink into the floor and disappear. That doesn't matter. I try again, reaching for him. The mate bond, the moon goddess chose us for each other. There's a reason. The moon goddess makes mistakes. He steps back again, away from my outstretched hand, and I won't tie myself to one of them. The cold in my chest is spreading, freezing everything it touches. My wolf is howling now, a sound of pure anguish that only I can hear. Please, I whisper, and I don't even care anymore that everyone is watching. Please don't do this. Just give us a chance. Give me a chance to, I, Callum Thorne, reject you, Lyra Winterborn, as my mate and my equal. The words detonate between us like a bomb. The mate bond, that golden, beautiful thread, doesn't just snap. It tears. It shreds. It burns its way out of my chest like someone has reached inside me and ripped out something vital, something I didn't even know I needed to survive until it was gone. I make a sound. I don't know what kind of sound. Something animal and broken. The pain is indescribable. Like every nerve ending in my body is on fire. Like my soul is being cleaved in two. The rejection burns through me in waves, each one worse than the last, until I'm on my knees on the ceremony hall floor and I don't even remember falling. Through the agony, I hear voices. Someone help her. Moon goddess. What was he thinking? She looks like she's dying. Maybe I am dying. Maybe this is what dying feels like. Lyra. May's hands are on my shoulders, but I can barely feel them through the pain. Lyra, breathe. You have to breathe. I can't breathe. Can't do anything but shake and hurt, and feel the empty space where the mate bond used to be, where something precious and sacred was torn away before I even had a chance to understand what it meant. Someone is crying. High, desperate sobs that echo off the ceremony hall's vaulted ceiling. It takes me too long to realize the sounds are coming from me. Get her out of here, a deep voice commands. My father. The beta. He sounds furious and heartbroken in equal measure. Get her home. Now. Hands lift me, carry me. The world blurs into shapes and colors that don't make sense. I catch a glimpse of Callum still standing there, his face pale but set, his amber eyes carefully avoiding the broken thing I've become. It rejected me. My mate, my fated mate, looked at me and decided I wasn't worth keeping. The moon goddess herself chose us, and he rejected me anyway. The last thing I see before darkness swallows me is the full moon hanging in the sky outside the ceremony hall windows. Round and perfect and completely indifferent to my suffering. Some goddess, some destiny, some fucking fate. 3 days later, I don't die. I wish I did, but I don't. The rejection sickness keeps me in bed for 3 days, fever hot and delirious, while my body tries to adjust to the violent severing of a bond that was barely formed. The pack healer comes and goes, leaving bitter teas and useless platitudes. My mother sits beside my bed and strokes my hair. My father paces like a caged animal, radiating fury that has nowhere to go. May cries more than I do. I don't cry at all after that first night. I'm too empty for tears. On the 4th day, I get out of bed. I'm weak, shaky, but I'm alive. The physical pain has faded to a dull ache. The emotional pain, I've learned not to look at that too closely. You don't have to go to the pack meeting, my mother says, hovering in my doorway. Her eyes are red-rimmed, her face drawn with worry. Your father can represent our family. Everyone would understand. I'm going. My voice sounds flat even to my own ears. I'm not going to hide. Lyra. I'm going, Mom. She stares at me for a long moment, then nods slowly. Okay, but if it's too much, if you need to leave, I'll be fine. I won't be fine. We both know I won't be fine. But I'm going anyway, because if I start hiding now, I'll never stop. If I let Callum's rejection turn me into something small and afraid, then he wins. Then the people who whispered about my weak wolf and my late bonding win, and I'm so tired of other people winning. The pack meeting is held in the Alpha's house, a sprawling mansion at the center of our territory. When I walk in with my family, the conversations don't stop exactly, but they shift. Eyes slide toward me, and then quickly away. Pity drips from every glance like poison. I keep my head up, and my face blank. Callum is there, standing with the other warriors. He doesn't look at me, hasn't looked at me since the rejection. I'm grateful for that, at least. I don't know what I'd do if he tried to talk to me, tried to apologize or explain. Actually, I do know. I'd break. And I refuse to break in front of him again. Alpha Dominic calls the meeting to order, and I barely listen to the usual pack business. Territory patrols, supply issues, upcoming ceremonies. My mind is elsewhere, locked in that endless loop of memory, the smell of pine and midnight rain, the golden thread forming and then tearing, the look on Callum's face when he decided I wasn't good enough. Representatives from the capital arriving tomorrow, Alpha Dominic is saying, and something in his tone makes me focus. He sounds tense, worried, even. The capital, where the Alpha King rules over all the packs in the territory. The Alpha King is touring the outer packs, Dominic continues. He'll be here for 3 days. I expect everyone to be on their best behavior. This is a great honor for Crescent Moon Pack. Murmurs ripple through the room. The Alpha King hasn't visited our pack in over a decade. His presence means scrutiny, evaluation, judgment. Why is he coming? Someone asks. Dominic hesitates. He's looking for something. That's all I was told. Looking for what? I don't know. But the alpha's expression suggests he has suspicions he's not sharing. I should care about this. A visit from the Alpha King is significant, potentially dangerous depending on what he finds. But I can't make myself feel anything beyond the hollow ache where my mate bond used to be. Let the Alpha King come. Let him judge us all. What does it matter? Nothing matters anymore. The meeting ends, and I'm heading for the door when I hear my name. Lyra. Wait. I turn to find Elder Miriam approaching, her ancient face creased with concern. She's one of the oldest wolves in the pack, a keeper of traditions and history. Yes, Elder, I ask, summoning a politeness I don't feel. She takes my hands in hers, her skin papery and cool. I'm sorry for what happened to you, child. A rejection is a terrible thing. Thank you, I say automatically. But you should know. She leans closer, her voice dropping to a whisper. A rejection doesn't mean your story is over. Sometimes the moon goddess's first choice isn't her final one. I stare at her. What does that mean? It means fate is more complicated than we teach the young ones. It means sometimes we have to be broken before we can be remade into what we're truly meant to be. Her eyes are strange, distant, like she's seeing something I can't. The Alpha King's visit isn't a coincidence, Lyra. Nothing is ever a coincidence. Before I can ask what she means, she pats my hands and shuffles away, leaving me standing there with a cold feeling spreading through my stomach. The Alpha King is coming, and somehow, I have the terrible suspicion that when he arrives, everything is going to change again. I just don't know if I can survive another change. I've barely survived this one. Chapter 2. The Alpha King arrives. The Alpha King arrives at dawn. I'm in the training yard when the howl echoes across the territory, the formal announcement of a visiting alpha. But this isn't just any alpha. This howl carries power that makes every wolf in the pack stop what they're doing and turn toward the sound like flowers following the sun. I've been coming to the training yard every morning since the rejection. Not to train with the others, I gave up on that humiliation years ago, but to run. To push my body until my mind goes quiet, until the only thing I can think about is breathing and moving and surviving the next minute. It's the only time I don't feel like I'm drowning. But now, hearing that howl, even my wolf stirs from the defeated slumber she's been in since Callum's rejection. Her ears prick forward. Interested. Alert in a way she hasn't been in days. Did you feel that? Someone whispers nearby. That's not just alpha power, another voice responds. That's something else entirely. I should go home. Change into something appropriate. My father will expect me to be present for the formal greeting, even though the last thing I want is to stand in a line and bow to some pompous royal who probably thinks we're all beneath him. But I don't move. I stay in the training yard, watching the eastern road, waiting to see what kind of man commands the kind of power that just rippled through our entire territory with a single howl. The motorcade appears first. Black SUVs with tinted windows, moving in perfect formation. Military precision. The vehicles roll through our pack's main street slowly, deliberately, giving everyone time to come out and watch, to witness, to submit. By the time they reach the Alpha's house, what seems like the entire pack has gathered. I hang back at the edge of the crowd, my training clothes still damp with sweat, my hair pulled into a messy braid. If my father sees me like this, he'll be furious. I can't bring myself to care. The SUVs stop. For a long moment, nothing happens. The tension builds until it's almost unbearable, until I can hear my own heartbeat pounding in my ears. Then the rear door of the center vehicle opens, and the Alpha King steps out. I forget how to breathe. He's tall, easily 6'4", with shoulders broad enough to block out the sun. His hair is dark as midnight, cut short on the sides but longer on top, and even from this distance I can see the silver threading through it at the temples. He's wearing all black, black tactical pants, black boots, a black shirt that does nothing to hide the muscled physique underneath. But it's his face that makes my wolf surge forward with sudden, unexpected interest. Sharp cheekbones, a jaw that could cut glass, a mouth that looks like it rarely smiles. And eyes, even from here I can see them, eyes that are the strangest color I've ever seen. Not quite gold, not quite amber, something in between, something that seems to glow with their own internal light. Wolf eyes, even in human form. He surveys the crowd with those glowing eyes, his expression completely neutral, and everywhere his gaze lands, wolves drop their heads, bare their necks, show submission without even thinking about it. Alpha Dominic steps forward, and even our alpha, a powerful wolf in his own right, looks diminished next to this man. Alpha King Damon, Dominic says, bowing his head. Welcome to Crescent Moon Pack. We're honored by your presence. So that's his name, Damon. The Alpha King nods once, a gesture that somehow manages to be both acknowledgement and dismissal. Alpha Dominic, thank you for your hospitality. His voice is deep, resonant, with an edge of gravel that makes my skin prickle with awareness. It's a voice that commands, that expects obedience, that brooks no argument. It's terrifying. Please. Dominic gestures toward the house. We've prepared quarters for you and your men. If there's anything you need, I'll let you know. The Alpha King's eyes are still scanning the crowd, looking for something. Or someone. And then, his gaze lands on me. Everything stops. I don't know how to explain what happens in that moment. It's not the mate bond, I know what that feels like. And this isn't it. But it's something. Some recognition. Some connection that snaps into place like a key turning in a lock. His eyes, those strange, glowing eyes, lock onto mine with an intensity that makes my knees weak. He doesn't look away, doesn't even blink, just stares at me like I'm the only person in the entire crowd, like everyone else has ceased to exist. My wolf, who has been a ghost since the rejection, suddenly comes roaring back to life. She doesn't howl, mate, like she did with Callum. Instead, she does something I've never felt her do before. She bows. Not in submission, not in fear, in recognition, respect. I don't understand it, and I don't have time to analyze it because the Alpha King is moving toward me. The crowd parts instantly, wolves scrambling to get out of his way. Dominic is saying something, probably asking where he's going, but the Alpha King ignores him completely. His attention is fixed on me with laser focus, and with each step he takes, my heart pounds harder. He's going to walk right past me, I tell myself. He's looking at something behind me. There's no reason for the Alpha King to be interested in a broken, rejected Omega who can barely shift without embarrassment. He stops directly in front of me. Up close, he's even more overwhelming. Taller, broader, more powerful than any wolf I've ever encountered. His scent hits me like a physical force, winter frost and ancient forests, smoke and something wild that makes my mouth go dry. You, he says, and that single word feels like a brand. I can't speak, can barely think, can only stare up at him while my wolf does something strange and submissive and eager all at once. What's your name? His voice is quieter now, meant only for me, but it still carries that commanding edge. Lyra. I hate that I stutter. Lyra Winterborn. Something flickers in those glowing eyes. Winterborn. The Beta's daughter? How does he know that? Yes. He takes a step closer, and I can feel the heat radiating off him, the sheer presence of his wolf pressing against mine. But it doesn't feel threatening. It feels curious, assessing. You've been rejected recently. It's not a question. The words hit me like a slap. How does he know? Is it written on my face? Can he smell it on me? The sickness, the broken bond, the shame? My voice cracks. Yes. By who? That's not, I swallow hard. It doesn't matter. It matters to me. Why? I want to ask. Why would the Alpha King care about a rejected Omega from some outer pack he's probably never thought about before today? Callum Thorne, I finally whisper. The Alpha's nephew. The temperature seems to drop 10 degrees. The Alpha King's face remains neutral, but something dangerous flickers in his eyes. Something that makes my survival instincts scream. Show me, he says. Show you what? Your wolf. Horror floods through me. I can't, I'm not. That wasn't a request. The command in his voice activates something primal in my wolf. Something that has nothing to do with choice, and everything to do with the hierarchy hardwired into our species. An Alpha King's command isn't like a regular alpha's. It's absolute, irresistible. Before I can stop her, my wolf surges forward. The shift is quick but painful, it always is for me. My bones crack and reform. My muscles tear and rebuild, and then I'm on 4 legs instead of 2. My clothes shredded around me. Shame burns through me as I stand there in wolf form. I know what I look like. Small for a she-wolf, barely larger than a human German shepherd. My coat is a plain brown, nothing special, nothing remarkable. I'm Delta rank at best, maybe even lower. I'm the weak wolf everyone whispers about. The crowd is silent. I can feel their pity, their second-hand embarrassment. Can feel Callum somewhere in the gathering, probably vindicated in his decision to reject me. But the Alpha King, he's staring at me with an expression I can't read. He circles me slowly, studying every inch of my wolf form, and I want to sink into the ground and disappear. Shift back, he says finally. I do, grateful when someone tosses a blanket over my naked form. I clutch it around myself, unable to meet anyone's eyes, unable to bear seeing my humiliation reflected back at me. Your wolf is small, the Alpha King says, and I flinch. But she's not weak. I look up, startled. What? Delta rank. He tilts his head, those strange eyes studying me. But not because of power deficiency, because of suppression. I don't understand. Your wolf is being held back by something. Trauma. Maybe. Or a curse. He pauses. Or both. A curse? That's ridiculous. No one in my pack practices that kind of magic. We're traditional wolves, not witches. There's no curse, I say firmly. Isn't there? His gaze intensifies. Tell me, Lyra Winterborn, how long have you been unable to shift properly? How long have you felt like your wolf was locked away, just out of reach? My entire life, I want to say. But that can't be right. Wolves aren't cursed. Things like that don't happen. I need to speak with her, the Alpha King announces, turning back to Alpha Dominic. Privately. Your Majesty, Dominic says carefully, perhaps it would be more appropriate if I wasn't asking for permission. The Alpha King's voice drops to something dangerous. I'm telling you what's going to happen. Lyra Winterborn will meet me in whatever quarters you've prepared. In 1 hour. Alone. The command ripples through the pack, undeniable and absolute. My father steps forward, his beta instincts warring with his paternal ones. Your Majesty, my daughter has been through a significant trauma, perhaps some time to recover. 1 hour, the Alpha King repeats, and this time the command is laced with alpha power that makes even my father bare his neck in submission. Then he turns back to me, and his expression softens just slightly, just enough that I can see something almost like gentleness underneath all that power. Don't be afraid, he says quietly. I'm not going to hurt you. Then why do I feel like my entire life is about to change again? Why do I feel like I'm standing on the edge of a cliff, and the Alpha King is about to push me off? He walks away, his men falling into formation around him, and the crowd slowly disperses. But I can feel their eyes on me, their questions, their speculation, their judgment. The Alpha King singled me out, the broken, rejected Omega that even her fated mate didn't want. What could he possibly want with me? 58 minutes later, I'm standing outside the guest quarters in the Alpha's house, wearing the nicest dress I own. A simple blue sundress that my mother insisted I change into, and trying not to hyperventilate. My father wanted to come with me. My mother wanted to wait outside. But the Alpha King's command was clear. Alone. So here I am, alone. About to enter a room with the most powerful wolf in all the territories, and I have no idea why. I raise my hand to knock, but the door opens before my knuckles make contact. A man stands there, not the Alpha King, but one of his guards. Tall, scarred, with eyes that assess me in half a second and apparently find me lacking. Lyra Winterborn? He asks. Yes. The king is waiting. He steps aside to let me pass. The suite is massive, easily 3 times the size of my bedroom at home. Expensive furniture, floor-to-ceiling windows, a sitting area that probably costs more than my family makes in a year. And in the center of it all, standing by the windows with his back to me, is the Alpha King. He's changed into fresh clothes, dark jeans, and a charcoal gray shirt that somehow makes him look even more imposing. His hands are clasped behind his back, his posture relaxed, but there's a coiled tension in his shoulders that suggests he's always ready for a fight. "Leave us," he says without turning around. The guard exits immediately, closing the door behind him with a soft click. And then we're alone. "Sit," the Alpha King says, gesturing to a chair without looking at me. I sit, my hands folded in my lap, my heart racing. For a long moment, he doesn't say anything, just stares out the window at the pack lands beyond. The silence stretches until it's almost unbearable. "Do you know why I'm here?" he finally asks. "No, Your Majesty. I'm looking for someone." He turns, and those glowing eyes pin me in place. "I've been looking for a very long time. I don't understand what that has to do with me. Don't you?" He crosses the room slowly, deliberately, until he's standing directly in front of me. "Tell me about your rejection, Lyra. Tell me why your mate cast you aside." The question is too direct, too painful, but something about his tone, not cruel, not mocking, just genuinely curious, makes me answer honestly. "He said I was too weak," I whisper. "That my wolf was barely Delta rank. That I couldn't give him powerful heirs." The shame of it burns through me all over again. "He said the moon goddess made a mistake. And what do you think?" I swallow hard. I think maybe he was right. The Alpha King makes a sound low in his throat, not quite a growl, but close. "He was wrong. You don't know that. You don't know me. I know enough." He crouches down so we're at eye level, and this close I can see flecks of silver in those strange eyes. "I know you've been suppressed your entire life. I know your wolf is locked away, caged by something you don't even understand. I know you're stronger than you think you are. How could you possibly know any of that?" He reaches out slowly, giving me time to pull away, and touches 2 fingers to the center of my chest, right over my heart. The moment his skin makes contact, power surges through me. Not painful, not invasive, but shocking in its intensity, like lightning running through my veins, like something waking up after a very long sleep. My wolf howls, actually howls, and for a second I see her clearly for the first time in my life. Not small, not weak. Powerful, radiant. Trapped behind bars I didn't even know were there. "What?" I gasp, pulling back. "What did you do?" "I showed you the truth." He stands, moving away, giving me space. "You're not weak, Lyra Winterborn. You've been cursed, bound. Someone put a suppression spell on you when you were very young, probably shortly after your first shift. It's been dampening your wolf your entire life, making you appear weaker than you actually are." "No, that's impossible." "Who would do that? Why?" "That's what I intend to find out." His expression hardens. "But first, I need to know if you'll accept my help." "Help with what?" "Breaking the curse, freeing your wolf, becoming who you were always meant to be." He pauses, and something intense flashes in his eyes. "And then, if you're willing, I want you to come back to the capital with me." The world tilts sideways. "What?" "I'm claiming you, Lyra Winterborn." His voice is firm, absolute, brooking no argument. "Not as a mate. I'm not your fated mate, and I won't pretend otherwise. But as mine. Under my protection. In my pack." "I don't understand. Why would you?" "Because you're what I've been looking for." He moves closer again, and this time there's something almost hungry in his expression. "Because I can feel the power locked inside you, and I want to see what happens when you're finally free. Because your mate was a fool to reject you, and I'm not a fool." My mind is spinning. This can't be real. The Alpha King can't be standing here offering to... What? Take me away from my pack? Break a curse I didn't even know existed? Claim me as his? This is insane. I breathe. "Yes," he agrees. "It is, but that doesn't make it any less true." He extends his hand toward me. "So what do you say, Lyra? Will you let me help you? Will you come with me and discover who you really are?" I stare at his hand, at the choice he's offering me. Stay here in Crescent Moon Pack, where everyone knows I was rejected. Where I'll always be the broken Omega who wasn't good enough for her fated mate. Where I'll spend the rest of my life being pitied and whispered about. Or go with him, with the Alpha King, into the unknown, into danger, into a future I can't even begin to imagine. My wolf is howling at me to take his hand, not because of a mate bond, but because she recognizes something in him. Something that calls to the power trapped inside us both. If I say yes, I ask quietly, can I ever come back? If you want to. His hand doesn't waver. But I don't think you'll want to. I think once you see what you're capable of, once you understand what was stolen from you, you won't want to go back to being small. He's right. I know he's right. I can feel it in my bones. I'm so tired of being small. So tired of being weak. So tired of being rejected and pitied, and treated like I'm something broken that needs to be hidden away. Maybe it's time to find out what happens when I stop accepting what everyone else thinks I am. Maybe it's time to become something else entirely. I take his hand. His fingers close around mine, warm and strong and sure. And when his eyes meet mine, I see something that looks almost like satisfaction. Good, he says. We leave at dawn. And just like that, my life changes again. But this time, I'm the one choosing the change. This time, I'm the one taking the leap. I just hope I survive the fall. Chapter 3. The Journey to the Capital. I don't sleep that night. How could I? In less than 12 hours, I've gone from being the pack's reject to being claimed by the Alpha King. From believing I was weak to learning I've been cursed. From having no future to suddenly having one that terrifies and exhilarates me in equal measure. My parents don't know what to make of it. This is highly irregular. My father keeps saying, pacing the length of our living room like a caged animal. The Alpha King doesn't just claim wolves from outer packs. There are protocols, procedures. He's the Alpha King, my mother interrupts gently. He doesn't need protocols. But why, Lyra? Why our daughter? He stops pacing and looks at me, and I can see the fear beneath his confusion. What does he want with you? I wish I had an answer that made sense. He said I've been cursed, that my wolf has been suppressed. That's ridiculous, my father says immediately. No one in this pack practices dark magic. And even if someone did, why would they target you? You were just a child. I don't know, Dad. I'm sitting on the couch, my hands wrapped around a cup of tea that's gone cold. But when he touched me, I felt something, like my wolf was bigger than I thought. Stronger. My mother sits beside me, taking my hand. Are you sure about this, sweetheart? You don't have to go with him. No matter what he commands. You're still a member of this pack. We can protect you. Can they? Can anyone protect someone from the Alpha King if he's truly decided he wants them? But that's not even the real question. The real question is, do I want to be protected from him? I want to go, I say quietly. And I'm surprised to realize it's true. I want to know what he's talking about. I want to understand why I've always felt like my wolf was locked away, just out of reach. And I take a shaky breath. I want to stop being the weak one, the rejected one. I want to be someone different. You're not weak, May says fiercely from the doorway. I didn't even hear her come in. You've never been weak, Lyra. You're the strongest person I know. You have to say that. You're my sister. I say it because it's true. She comes over and kneels in front of me, her eyes bright with unshed tears. When Callum rejected you, I thought you'd break. But you didn't. You got up. You kept going. That's not weakness. Going with the Alpha King isn't brave, May. It's desperate. Maybe. She squeezes my hands. But maybe desperate and brave look the same sometimes. We sit like that for a while, my family around me. Until the sky outside starts to lighten with the approaching dawn. Until it's time to pack what little I'm bringing with me and face whatever comes next. The Alpha King's motorcade is already assembled when I arrive at the Alpha's house. Black SUVs gleaming in the early morning light, engines running, ready to depart. Wolves from the pack have gathered to watch, some curious, some concerned, some clearly pleased to see the rejected Omega leaving. I try not to look for Callum in the crowd. I fail. He's there, standing near the back, his amber eyes carefully avoiding mine. Part of me wants him to look at me. Wants him to see that someone, the most powerful someone, found value in what he discarded. But a bigger part of me doesn't care anymore. He made his choice. Now I'm making mine. Miss Winterbourne. The scarred guard from yesterday approaches, his expression still carefully neutral. I'm Riker, captain of the King's Guard. I'll be riding in your vehicle. Okay, I say. Because what else is there to say? Your bags have been loaded. The king requests that you ride in the second vehicle. He'll be in the lead. Of course he will. The Alpha King wouldn't ride with someone like me. I'm a project, not a person. A curiosity, not a companion. I hug my family goodbye, my mother crying openly now, my father's jaw tight with suppressed emotion. May whispering promises that we'll see each other soon. Alpha Dominic gives me a formal farewell, his expression troubled but resigned. And then I'm climbing into the SUV, settling into leather seats that probably cost more than my entire wardrobe, and we're moving, leaving Crescent Moon Pack behind, leaving everything I've ever known behind. The journey to the capital takes 6 hours. We drive through territories I've only heard about, past pack lands that blur together into forests and fields and small towns. Riker sits across from me, silent but watchful, occasionally speaking into a radio to coordinate with the other vehicles. I stare out the window and try not to think about what I'm doing. Try not to second-guess every decision that led me to this moment. You're afraid, Riker says suddenly, and I startle at the sound of his voice. I'm not. It's okay to be afraid. He leans back in his seat, studying me with those assessing eyes. Most wolves would be terrified. The king isn't. Easy. What's he like? The question escapes before I can stop it. Really like, I mean, not the public version. Riker considers this for a long moment. Complicated, fair but ruthless. He expects absolute loyalty but gives it in return. He's the best leader I've ever served under. He pauses. But he's also damaged in ways most people don't see. Damaged how? That's not my story to tell. He looks out the window. But I will say this, the king doesn't do anything without reason. If he's claimed you, if he's bringing you to the capital, it's because he sees something in you that he needs, or wants, or both. That's not exactly comforting. It's not meant to be, it's meant to be honest. He meets my eyes. The king values honesty above almost everything else. If you want to survive at the capital, remember that. Never lie to him. Even if the truth is ugly, even if you think it will anger him, he can handle truth. Lies are what make him dangerous. I file that information away, adding it to the growing list of things I need to remember. Need to understand about the man who's turned my life upside down. We stop once, at a rest area, for food and fuel. I catch a glimpse of the Alpha King emerging from the lead vehicle, surrounded by his guards, moving with that predatory grace that makes every eye turn toward him. He doesn't look at my vehicle, doesn't acknowledge me. I tell myself I'm relieved. I'm lying. When we finally arrive at the capital, the sun is beginning its descent toward the horizon, painting the sky in shades of orange and gold. The city rises before us, like something out of a dream, gleaming towers of glass and steel mixed with older stone buildings, all of it surrounded by a massive wall that speaks of both protection and containment. Welcome to Eclipse City, Riker says, the heart of the Alpha King's territory. It's beautiful and intimidating in equal measure. We pass through gates manned by guards who snap to attention as the motorcade approaches, their eyes following our vehicles with intense focus. The streets inside the walls are wider than any I've seen, lined with shops and restaurants and wolves going about their business. But everything stops when we pass. Wolves freeze mid-step, mid-conversation, turning to watch the Alpha King's vehicles roll by. Some bow their heads, others press their hands to their hearts in a gesture of respect. This is what real power looks like, I realize. Not just strength, but devotion. These wolves don't just fear their king. They revere him. The motorcade winds through the city until we reach what can only be described as a palace. A massive structure of white stone and dark glass, surrounded by manicured gardens and more guards than I can count. It's beautiful and terrifying, ancient and modern, a physical manifestation of the wolf who rules from within it. We pull up to a circular drive, and Riker opens the door for me. This way, Miss Winterbourne. I step out on shaky legs, overwhelmed by the sheer scale of everything. The Alpha King is already striding toward the entrance, his guards flanking him, his presence commanding attention from every wolf in sight. Lyra. His voice cuts through the commotion, making me jump. He stopped at the entrance, turned back to look at me. Keep up. It's not cruel, just matter of fact. A reminder that I'm here at his sufferance, that I need to meet his expectations, or be left behind. I hurry to catch up, Riker at my side. Inside, the palace is even more impressive. Vaulted ceilings, marble floors, artwork that probably costs more than my entire pack's annual income. Wolves in formal attire move with purpose through hallways that seem to stretch forever. All of them stopping to bow as the Alpha King passes. He doesn't acknowledge any of them. Just keeps walking with that confident stride, his destination apparently clear in his mind. We end up in what looks like a private wing, away from the bustle of the main palace. The Alpha King stops at a door, pushing it open to reveal a suite that makes the guest quarters in my pack look like a closet. "These are your rooms," he says, gesturing inside. "You'll stay here while we work on breaking your curse. These are..." "This is too much?" I stammer, taking in the enormous bedroom, the sitting area, the bathroom visible through another door that looks like it contains a tub the size of a small pool. "You're under my protection now. You'll be housed accordingly." He moves to leave, then pauses. "Dinner is at 8. Someone will come to get you." Wait. I don't know where the courage comes from, but I can't let him leave without asking. "Why are you doing this? Really?" He turns back, and for a moment, I see something flicker in those glowing eyes. Something that looks almost like loneliness. "Because 10 years ago, I made a promise," he says quietly, "and I've been looking for a way to keep it ever since. You might be that way. I don't understand." "You will." He steps into the hallway. "Get some rest, Lyra. Tomorrow, we begin." And then he's gone, leaving me alone in a palace room, in a city I don't know, with more questions than answers. 3 hours later, a knock at the door startles me out of my anxious pacing. I've spent the last few hours exploring the suite, taking a shower in that ridiculous bathtub, and trying on the clothes I found in the closet, all new, all in my size, all far more expensive than anything I've ever owned. Someone anticipated my arrival. Someone prepared for me. The thought is both flattering and unnerving. I open the door to find a woman standing there, petite, with dark hair pulled into a severe bun and sharp green eyes that assess me in a single glance. "Lyra Winterborn?" she asks. "Yes. I'm Elena, the king's personal assistant. I'm here to escort you to dinner." "Oh, okay." I glance down at the simple dress I put on, emerald green, knee-length, the nicest thing from the closet. "Is this appropriate?" Something that might be approval flickers in her eyes. "It's perfect." The king doesn't care for ostentation. He prefers authenticity. She leads me through the palace, down corridors I'd never find on my own, past rooms with closed doors and guards who nod at Elena but watch me with open curiosity. We arrive at a dining room that's smaller than I expected, intimate, even. A table set for 2, candles providing soft light, windows overlooking the city below, and the Alpha King, standing by those windows, his back to us. "Your Majesty," Elena says. "Miss Winterborn has arrived." "Thank you, Elena. That will be all." The assistant bows and withdraws, leaving me alone with him again. The Alpha King turns, and I'm struck again by how imposing he is. He's changed into dark slacks and a white shirt with the sleeves rolled up, revealing forearms corded with muscle and marked with scars. His hair is slightly damp, like he recently showered. He looks human. Almost. "Sit," he says, gesturing to the table. I do, my hands folded in my lap, trying not to show how nervous I am. He sits across from me, and for a moment, we just look at each other. Then he reaches for a bottle of wine, pouring 2 glasses with steady hands. "You don't have to be afraid of me," he says, sliding 1 glass toward me. "Everyone's afraid of you," I reply before I can stop myself. Something that might be amusement flickers across his face. "True, but you don't have to be. I told you I'm not going to hurt you. Then what are you going to do to me?" He takes a sip of wine, considering his answer. "I'm going to show you who you really are. I'm going to break the curse that's been holding you back, and then I'm going to ask you to help me with something." "Help you with what?" "All in good time." He sets down his glass. "First, you need to understand what was done to you, and why." A server appears with plates of food, beautifully prepared dishes that smell incredible. I realize I haven't eaten all day, too nervous to manage more than a few bites at breakfast. We eat in silence for a few minutes, and I'm surprised to find the quiet isn't uncomfortable. It's almost peaceful. Tell me about your childhood, the Alpha King says finally. Specifically, your first shift. How old were you? 6, I answer. Young but not unusually so. And what do you remember about it? I close my eyes, reaching back into memories I haven't examined in years. I remember it hurt. More than it should have, according to the pack healer. I remember my wolf felt wrong, like she didn't fit inside my skin properly. And I remember afterward, I couldn't shift again for almost a year. Did anyone help you? Try to figure out what was wrong? The healer ran tests. Said I was probably just a late bloomer, that some wolves take longer to grow into their power. I opened my eyes, meeting his gaze. But I never grew into it. I stayed small. Weak. You're not weak, he says, and there's an edge to his voice now. Something sharp and angry, but not directed at me. You're suppressed. There's a difference. How can you be sure? He sets down his fork, his expression serious. Because I've seen this before. 10 years ago, I encountered a wolf who'd been cursed the same way. Suppression spell, designed to lock away their true power and make them appear weak. By the time I found them, it was too late. The curse had been in place too long, had dug too deep into their wolf's essence. When I tried to break it, he trails off, his jaw clenching. What happened? They died. The words are flat, emotionless, but I can see the pain beneath them. The curse had become too intertwined with their wolf. Removing it killed them both. Horror floods through me. And you want to try this on me? No. He leans forward, his eyes intense. I've spent the last 10 years studying suppression curses, learning how they work, how they're constructed, how to safely dismantle them. I've found 12 other wolves who'd been cursed this way, and I've successfully freed 11 of them. What happened to the 12th? They chose not to go through with it. They'd lived with the curse for 40 years. They decided they'd rather stay weak than risk dying. He pauses. I respect that choice. And I'll respect yours, if you decide the same. But I think you're stronger than that, Lyra. I think you want to know who you really are. He's right. Goddess help me, he's right. Who would curse a child? I ask quietly. Who would do something like that? That's what we need to figure out. He sits back, his expression thoughtful. Suppression curses are dark magic. Expensive, difficult to cast, and not something anyone does on a whim. Someone targeted you specifically, probably shortly after your first shift. Someone who wanted to make sure you never reached your full potential. But why? I'm nobody. Just a beta's daughter from an outer pack. What threat could I possibly pose? That, the Alpha King says, his eyes glowing brighter, is the question that brought me to your pack. Because 6 months ago, I received information that suggested someone in Crescent Moon Pack had been cursed as a child, someone whose true power had been locked away, and I've been searching for that someone ever since. The implications of what he's saying crash over me like a wave. You came to my pack looking for me specifically? Not you specifically, but someone like you. Someone who'd been suppressed, hidden, made to appear weak when they were actually strong. He leans forward again. And the moment I saw you, the moment I felt your wolf, I knew I'd found what I was looking for. What exactly do you think I am? My voice comes out as a whisper. What power could I possibly have that would be worth cursing? The Alpha King smiles. And it's the first real smile I've seen from him. It transforms his face, making him look younger, less dangerous, almost beautiful. That's what we're going to find out, he says, starting tomorrow. I'm going to break your curse, Lyra Winterborn. And then we're both going to discover exactly what you're capable of. I stare at him across the table, this powerful, mysterious king who's upended my entire life in the space of a day, who's offering me something I never thought possible, a chance to be more than the weak. Rejected Omega everyone believed I was. What if I can't do it? I ask quietly. What if the curse breaks and I'm still just me? Still weak? Then you'll still be under my protection. You'll still have a place here, in my pack, in my palace. The curse breaking isn't conditional on you being powerful, Lyra. It's about freeing you from something that was forced on you without your consent. Something in my chest loosens at those words. Some tension I didn't even know I was carrying. Okay, I say. Tomorrow, we break the curse. Tomorrow, he agrees, raising his wine glass. We set you free. I raise my glass to meet his, and the crystal chimes softly as they touch. I don't know what tomorrow will bring. Don't know if I'll survive having a curse ripped out of me. Don't know what I'll become if I do. But for the first time since Callum rejected me, for the first time in longer than I can remember, I feel something that almost resembles hope. Maybe the Alpha King is right. Maybe I'm stronger than I think. Maybe it's time to find out. Subscribe if you believe Lyra deserved to know the truth about herself all along, because wolves who've been silenced for 17 years need voices willing to fight for them. Drop a comment telling Lyra what you would say to someone who tried to dim your light. She's not alone, and neither are you. Chapter 4. Breaking the Curse. I don't sleep again that night. Every time I close my eyes, I see the Alpha King's face when he talked about the wolf who died. The pain beneath the carefully controlled expression. The weight of a failure he's carried for 10 years. What if I'm the next failure? What if tomorrow, when he tries to break this curse, I die on some palace floor while he watches, helpless to stop it? What if Callum was right, and I'm not strong enough for any of this? By the time dawn breaks, painting my room in shades of pink and gold, I've convinced myself a dozen times to run, to slip out of this palace and disappear into the city, to find my way back to Crescent Moon Pack and accept my fate as the rejected Omega who wasn't worth keeping. But I don't run, because beneath the fear, beneath the doubt, there's something else, something that's been growing since the moment the Alpha King touched my chest, and I felt my wolf, my real wolf, howl with recognition. I want to know. I need to know. Even if it kills me, I need to know who I really am. The knock comes at 7. Elena, perfectly composed as always, her expression giving nothing away. "Good morning, Miss Winterbourne," she says. "The king requests your presence in the ritual chamber." Ritual chamber? My voice comes out hoarse. That sounds ominous. It's where he breaks curses. She studies me for a moment, and something almost like sympathy crosses her face. "You should eat something first. You'll need your strength." She's brought a tray, toast, eggs, fruit, tea. I force myself to eat, though everything tastes like ash in my mouth. Elena waits patiently, not speaking, just a steady presence that's oddly comforting. "Has he done this many times?" I ask finally. "Broken curses, I mean." 12 times, as he told you. I've been present for the last 8. She pours more tea into my cup. It's not pleasant to watch, but he's very good at what he does. "The one who died," I trail off, not sure how to ask, "was before my time. But I know it haunts him." Elena meets my eyes. "He won't let it happen again, Miss Winterbourne. He'll die himself before he lets another wolf die on his watch." The certainty in her voice should comfort me. Instead, it just adds another layer of pressure. Not only do I have to survive this for myself, but I have to survive it for him. For the Alpha King who's carrying the ghost of one failure and doesn't need another. When I can't force down another bite, Elena leads me deeper into the palace. Downstairs I didn't know existed, through corridors that grow progressively older, more primal. The modern palace gives way to ancient stone, to walls that feel like they've stood for centuries. "This is the oldest part of the structure," Elena explains. "Built when the first Alpha King claimed this territory, over 500 years ago. Some of the pack's most important rituals happen down here." We reach a heavy wooden door, and she knocks 3 times. A pause then. Enter. The ritual chamber is not what I expected. It's circular, carved entirely from dark stone, with a domed ceiling that makes every sound echo. Candles provide the only light, hundreds of them arranged in intricate patterns on the floor. And in the center of it all, drawn in what looks like salt or chalk, is a massive circle filled with symbols I don't recognize. The Alpha King stands at the edge of the circle, dressed all in black, his eyes already beginning to glow with that strange light. But he's not alone. An old woman sits in a chair near the wall, So ancient she looks like she might crumble to dust at any moment. Her hair is pure white, her face a map of wrinkles. But her eyes are sharp and bright and knowing. "Ah," she says, her voice surprisingly strong. "So this is the one." "Lyra," the Alpha King says. "This is Grandmother Iris. She's the pack's eldest witch, and she'll be assisting with the ritual." "Witch," I echo weakly. "Half witch, half wolf," Iris corrects, pushing herself to her feet with surprising grace. "A rare combination, useful for this sort of thing." She approaches me, those sharp eyes studying every inch of my face. Yes, I can see it. The suppression. It's woven through you like a parasite." Her words make my skin crawl. "Can you remove it?" "I can help him remove it," she says, gesturing to the Alpha King. "But make no mistake, child, this is going to hurt. The curse has been part of you for so long that tearing it out will feel like tearing out pieces of your soul." "How comforting," I mutter. She laughs, a sound like dry leaves rustling. "I like this one, Damon. She's got spine." Damon. I've never heard anyone call the Alpha King by his given name. It makes him seem more human, more real, less like the untouchable force of nature he usually appears to be. "Lyra," he says, drawing my attention back to him. "Before we begin, I need you to understand what's going to happen. Iris and I are going to enter a shared trance state, linking our power together. We'll use that combined power to see the curse, to actually see it, mapped out across your wolf's essence, and then, very carefully, we're going to start unraveling it. How long will it take?" "Hours, maybe as long as 6 or 7. His expression is serious. "You'll be conscious the entire time. You'll feel everything. And at some point, you're going to want to stop, want us to leave the curse in place, because the pain of removal will seem worse than living with it. But if I stop, then we stop," he says firmly. "This only works if you choose it, Lyra. If you consent to it, every step of the way, the moment you tell us to stop, we will. No judgment, no consequences." I take a shaky breath. "And if I don't stop? If I make it through? Then you'll be free." Something intense flashes in his eyes. "And we'll finally see who you really are." I look at the circle, at the symbols I don't understand, at the candles flickering in the darkness. This is insane. I should run, should refuse, should choose the safety of the curse over the danger of freedom. But I'm so tired of being safe. So tired of being small. "What do I need to do?" I ask. Relief crosses the Alpha King's Damon's face. "Step into the circle, sit in the center, and trust us." Trust. Such a simple word for something so complicated. But I do trust him. Goddess knows why. But I do. I step into the circle, careful not to disturb any of the symbols, and sit cross-legged in the center. The stone is cold beneath me, and I'm suddenly aware of how thin my clothes are. Just a simple shirt and leggings that Elena had laid out this morning. Damon and Iris take positions on opposite sides of the circle, sitting cross-legged like me, forming a triangle. "Close your eyes," Iris instructs. "Focus on your breathing. Find your wolf." I do, sinking inward, searching for the presence that's been a part of me since I was 6 years old. She's there, as always, but distant, muted, like she's behind a thick wall of glass. "I'm going to begin the chant," Iris says. "Don't be alarmed. It's an old language, older than the Pax. It's the language of magic itself." She starts speaking, words I don't understand flowing from her mouth in a rhythmic pattern. The air in the chamber changes, growing heavy, charged with power. I feel it pressing against my skin, seeping into my pores. Then Damon joins in, his deeper voice weaving through Iris's, creating a harmony that makes my bones vibrate. The power intensifies, building, spiraling, until I can barely breathe through the weight of it, and then it enters me. I gasp, my eyes flying open. The chamber is glowing, the symbols on the floor pulsing with light, the candles burning brighter, and Damon and Iris both surrounded by auras of power. His is silver-white, pure alpha dominance. Hers is green-gold, wild and ancient. "Look inward," Damon commands, his voice echoing strangely. "Look at your wolf. Can you see her?" I close my eyes again. focusing past the power flooding my system, and, oh, goddess. I can see her, actually see her, like a vision projected inside my mind. My wolf, curled in on herself, and wrapped around her like chains are threads of sickly black-green light. Hundreds of them, thousands, binding her legs, her muzzle, her chest, her throat. I see it, I whisper. The curse. It's everywhere. Good, Iris says. Now hold very still, child. We're coming in. The power that's been swirling around me suddenly focuses, becoming two distinct presences in my mind. Damon and Iris, their consciousness merging with mine. Seeing what I see. Fuck, Damon breathes, and the curse in his voice tells me how bad it is. Whoever did this was powerful. This is masterwork. And old, Iris adds. 16, 17 years at least. It's had time to root deep. Can you remove it? My mental voice sounds small, afraid. Yes. Damon's presence moves closer, examining the threads. But Iris was right. This is going to hurt. I'm ready. No, you're not, he says, not unkindly. No one's ever ready. But we'll be here with you. You won't be alone. And then they begin. The first thread comes away with a sensation like a hot knife sliding under my skin. I cry out, my body jerking. But Damon's voice cuts through the pain. Breathe, Lyra. Focus on breathing. The second thread is worse. The third makes me scream. By the 10th, I'm sobbing. Please, I gasp. Please, it hurts. I know. Damon's voice is steady, anchoring. I know it hurts. But look at your wolf. Look at her. I force myself to look, and even through the pain, I can see the difference. Where the threads have been removed, my wolf's fur is brighter, healthier. She's lifting her head, her eyes opening, awareness returning. She's waking up, I whisper. She is, Iris confirms. Keep going, child. We're maybe a 10th of the way through. A 10th. Goddess, help me. Only a 10th. The next hour is agony. Pure, unrelenting agony, as they methodically remove thread after thread, layer after layer of curse. I scream until my voice goes hoarse. I beg them to stop. I threaten. I plead. I promise things I'll never remember later. But through it all, Damon's voice is there. Steady. Unshakable. You're doing so well, Lyra. Just a little more. Stay with us. Don't give up. My wolf is struggling now, fighting against the remaining threads, desperate to break free. The pain of her struggles combines with the pain of the removal, until I can't tell where one ends and the other begins. Halfway, Iris announces. The worst is behind us now, child. Liar, it gets worse. Because, as more threads come away, my wolf gets stronger. And stronger means more aware of what's been done to her, of what's been stolen from her. She starts to howl a sound of rage and grief that echoes through my mind like a siren. She's furious, betrayed, hurt beyond measure by years of suppression, years of being locked away. Easy, Damon soothes, his presence wrapping around both of us. Easy, little wolf. We're almost there, almost free. Hours pass, or maybe minutes. Time has lost all meaning in this place of pain and power. There's only the removal, the slow, agonizing process of unmaking what someone made, of freeing what someone bound. Last layer, Iris finally says, and I could weep with relief. This one's wrapped around her heart, Damon. It's going to be delicate. I see it. His presence moves closer, and I feel his focus sharpen to a razor's edge. Lyra, this is the most important part. You need to stay absolutely still. If I slip, if I cut wrong, I could damage your wolf's essence permanently. Okay? I manage. Though I'm shaking so hard, I don't know how I'll stay still. Look at me. It's a command, and even in this mental space, I obey. Damon's presence manifests before me, not his physical form, but his essence. Pure power, pure dominance, pure focused will. I won't let anything happen to you. Do you understand? I won't let you break. I understand. Then trust me. One more time, trust me. I do. Against all logic, all reason, I trust him. He begins to work on the final threads, and the pain is different now, deeper, more fundamental, like he's operating on my very soul. My wolf whimpers, afraid, but I hold her steady. Hold us both steady. Almost, Damon murmurs. Almost there. Last thread. Last one, Lyra. He pulls. And something tears. And the curse breaks. It doesn't fade gradually. It shatters, exploding outward in a wave of black-green light that makes me scream one final time. And in the space where it lived, where it's bound my wolf for 17 years, power rushes in to fill the void. My power. My true power. And it's massive. My wolf surges to her feet. No longer small. No longer weak. She's enormous, easily, twice the size I thought she was. Her fur ripples with power, with potential, with all the strength that's been locked away. She throws back her head and howls. A sound of pure triumph, pure joy, pure fury at what was stolen, and relief at what's been returned. And I howl with her. In the physical world, my body convulses. Light pours from my skin. Not the golden light of a normal wolf, but something else. Something that makes Iris gasp and Damon go very, very still. Impossible. Iris breathes. Not impossible, Damon says, and there's something like awe in his voice. Just very, very rare. The light fades. The power settles. And I open my eyes to find myself lying on the stone floor, every muscle in my body screaming, but alive. So alive. What? I try to sit up and nearly fall. Damon catches me, his hands steady on my shoulders. What am I? He looks at me, those glowing eyes filled with something I can't name, and smiles. You, Lyra Winterborn, he says, are a lunar wolf. The first one born in over 300 years. Chapter 5. Discovery of Power. A lunar wolf? I repeat, the words feeling foreign on my tongue. What does that mean? Damon helps me sit up properly, but doesn't release me. I'm grateful for that. I'm not sure I could stay upright on my own. Every part of me feels wrung out, hollowed, and simultaneously filled with something vast and unfamiliar. It means, Iris says, shuffling closer, her ancient eyes bright with wonder, that you are blessed by the moon goddess herself. Lunar wolves are born once in a generation. If that. They carry power that goes beyond the normal hierarchy, beyond alpha, beyond even what most of us understand. But I've always been weak, because someone made sure you stayed weak. Damon interrupts, his voice hard. Someone who knew exactly what you were, and wanted to make certain you never realized it. The implications of that statement settle over me like a shroud. Someone knew. When I was 6 years old, someone looked at a child and decided to curse her. Yes, Damon's jaw clenches, and we're going to find out who. But first, Iris says, producing a vial from her pocket, you need to drink this. Your body has been through tremendous trauma. This will help stabilize you while your system adjusts to your true power. I take the vial with shaking hands and drink. The liquid tastes like moonlight and honey if moonlight had a taste, and immediately, some of the trembling eases. Not all of it, but enough that I can breathe without feeling like I might shatter. What can lunar wolves do? I ask. What makes them so special that someone would curse a child? Damon and Iris exchange a look. That's complicated, Damon says finally. Lunar wolves have different gifts. Some can heal with a touch. Others can see the future, or read minds, or command other wolves regardless of rank. The moon goddess gives each lunar wolf the gifts she deems necessary. And mine? We won't know until they manifest, Iris says. Usually, it takes a few days for the gifts to settle. Your wolf has been suppressed for so long that she'll need time to remember what she's capable of. I close my eyes, reaching inward again. My wolf is still there, no longer bound, pacing in my mind with restless energy. She's not small anymore. She's magnificent silver-white fur that seems to shimmer with its own light, eyes that glow the same strange color as Damon's, a presence that feels ancient and new all at once. I need to shift, I say suddenly. I need to. I have to see her. My real wolf. Not yet, Damon says firmly. Your body isn't ready. Give it at least 24 hours to adjust before you attempt a full shift. Otherwise, you could hurt yourself. Frustration surges through me, but I can feel the truth in his words. I'm exhausted down to my bones, barely able to sit upright. Shifting now would be dangerous. Help me up, I say instead. I want to stand. Damon pulls me to my feet, and immediately my legs nearly give out. He catches me, one arm around my waist, holding me steady against his chest. This close, I can feel the heat of him, smell that scent of winter frost and ancient forests. Feel the steady beating of his heart against my cheek. Easy, he murmurs. You've been sitting for almost 7 hours. Your body needs time to remember how to work. 7 hours. 7 hours of agony that felt like both an eternity and a heartbeat. I did it, I whisper, and suddenly I'm crying. Not from pain this time, but from relief, from joy, from the overwhelming realization that I'm free. I actually did it. You did. There's pride in his voice, and something else. Something warmer. You were incredibly brave, Lyra. Most wolves would have given up. I wanted to, I admit. So many times I wanted to tell you to stop, but you didn't. His arm tightens around me. That's what matters. We stand like that for a long moment, me leaning against him holding me up, while Iris watches with an unreadable expression on her ancient face. The king should take you to your rooms, she finally says. You need rest. Real rest, not just sitting. Your body needs to recover. I can walk, I protest weakly. No, Damon says. You can't. And then he's lifting me, actually lifting me into his arms like I weigh nothing. I should protest, should insist on my own 2 feet, but I'm too tired, too wrung out. So instead, I let my head fall against his shoulder and close my eyes. Thank you, I murmur. For this, for not giving up on me. I would never give up on you, he says, and there's something fierce in his voice. You're too important. I want to ask what he means by that. Want to understand why the Alpha King would care so much about a rejected Omega from an outer pack. But exhaustion is pulling me under, dragging me down into darkness. The last thing I remember before sleep claims me is the steady rhythm of his heartbeat and the feeling of absolute safety in his arms. 2 days later, I wake to sunlight streaming through windows and the smell of food. Real food, not the broth and tea Elena has been forcing down my throat for the past 48 hours. I sit up carefully, testing my body. The bone-deep exhaustion is gone, replaced by something else. Energy, vitality, strength that feels both familiar and completely foreign. My wolf stretches in my mind, content and powerful, no longer caged. You're awake, Elena says from the doorway, a tray in her hands. And sitting up. That's good. The king has been worried. Has he? I take the tray, gratefully, eggs, bacon, toast, fruit, orange juice. My stomach growls at the sight of it. I thought Alpha Kings didn't worry. This one does, more than he lets on. She sits in the chair beside my bed, watching me eat with approval. He's been checking on you every few hours, demanding updates from the healers, making sure you have everything you need. I don't know what to do with that information, so I focus on eating. Everything tastes incredible, like my senses have been sharpened along with my wolf. Elena, I say between bites. What do you know about lunar wolves? Only what everyone knows. They're rare, powerful, blessed by the moon goddess. She tilts her head. Why do you ask? Because apparently that's what I am, and I have no idea what that means. Understanding dawns in her eyes. Ah, that explains why the king has been intense these past few days. Intense, how? Issuing orders, calling in favors, digging through old records. She leans forward. He's trying to figure out who cursed you, Miss Winterbourne. And when the king sets his mind to something, he doesn't stop until he has answers. The thought of Damon, I've started thinking of him as Damon, not the Alpha King. Somewhere in the last 2 days investigating my past makes something warm unfurl in my chest. He's actually trying to find who hurt me, who stole 17 years of my life. Can I see him? I ask. I want to thank him, and I want to understand what happens now. He's in his study. I'll let him know you're awake and ready to receive visitors. Elena stands, smoothing her skirt. But Miss Winterbourne? You should know that the king has called a gathering for tonight. He's announcing your presence to the pack, your real presence, as a lunar wolf. Panic flutters in my chest. A gathering? But I'm not ready. You'll be fine, Elena says firmly. The king wouldn't put you in a situation you couldn't handle. And besides, the pack needs to know what you are. It's the only way to keep you safe. Safe from what? But Elena is already leaving, promising to return with the king shortly. I finish eating quickly and stumble to the bathroom. The mirror shows a stranger. My hair is the same brown it's always been, but there's a silver streak now, running from my temple through the length of it. My eyes, previously a muddy hazel, now have flecks of that same strange glowing color Damon's eyes hold. I look like what I am now. Changed, powerful, other. A knock at the door makes me jump. Come in, I call. Damon enters, and the sight of him makes my breath catch. He's in casual clothes, dark jeans, and a gray sweater, but he wears them like armor. His eyes scan me quickly, assessing, and I see relief flash across his face. You look better, he says. I feel better. I gesture to the mirror, though I look different. The marks of a lunar wolf. He moves closer, studying the silver in my hair, the glow in my eyes. They'll become more pronounced as your power settles. Eventually, you'll be able to call on your wolf's appearance even in human form. Is that normal? For lunar wolves, yes. You exist somewhere between wolf and human in ways others don't. He reaches out, hesitates, then gently touches the silver streak in my hair. It's beautiful. The compliment makes heat rush to my cheeks. Elena said you've been investigating, trying to find who cursed me. I have. His hand drops. I've called in every favor I have, contacted every witch and magic user in my territory. Someone had to cast that curse. Lyra, someone with significant power and knowledge. That limits the pool considerably. And I have 3 names. 3 witches capable of crafting a suppression curse that sophisticated. His expression darkens. 2 are dead. The 3rd disappeared 17 years ago. 17 years. The same time I was cursed. Who is she? Her name is Morgana Thorne. She was a powerful witch, known for dark magic. And she vanished without a trace shortly after you would have been cursed. He pauses. The surname is a coincidence I don't believe in. Thorne. Like Callum Thorne. Like the family that rejected me. You think my mate's family cursed me? The words taste like ash. I think it's a lead worth investigating. The timing is too perfect, and the Thorns have always been ambitious. If they somehow knew what you were, what you could become. He trails off, but the implication is clear. They cursed me to keep me weak, to make sure I could never challenge them, never rise to my true potential. And when Callum rejected me, that was just the final insult. The last way to make sure I stayed broken. Rage surges through me, hot and bright, and my wolf snarls in response. The air in the room crackles with power, my power, leaking out for the first time without the curse to contain it. Lyra. Damon's voice cuts through my fury. Breathe. Control it. They knew. I snarl, and I can hear the wolf in my voice. They knew what I was and they cursed me. Made me weak. Made me worthless. And then he rejected me, because of the very curse his family probably placed. We don't know for certain, don't we? I'm shaking now, power rolling off me in waves. The timing, the name, the rejection, it all makes sense. They wanted to make sure I never became a threat. And now you are one, Damon says. And there's satisfaction in his voice. Now you're exactly what they feared. A lunar wolf. Under my protection. With every reason to want revenge. The thought of revenge is intoxicating. The idea of going back to Crescent Moon Pack and showing Callum exactly what they rejected. But beneath the rage, there's hurt. Deep, aching hurt at the betrayal of it all. Why? I whisper. I was 6 years old, just a child. Why curse a child? Because lunar wolves are born, not made. Someone must have recognized what you were, even then. Maybe the way you shifted, or the power you displayed, or some other sign. Damon moves closer, his presence steadying, and they were afraid. Power makes people do terrible things out of fear. I sink onto the edge of the bed, my anger draining away as quickly as it came, leaving only exhaustion. What happens now? Now, we prepare you. Your power is raw, untrained. You need to learn control before you can truly use it. And tonight, we announce what you are to my pack. Let everyone know that you're under my protection, that harming you means answering to me. And then we go back to Crescent Moon Pack. His eyes glow brighter. We find out the truth about who cursed you. We get justice. And we make sure they understand exactly what they tried to destroy. The promise in his voice sends shivers down my spine. Not fear, but anticipation. The Alpha King is offering me something I never thought I'd have. Retribution. Why are you doing this? I ask quietly. You've broken my curse, given me a home, and now you're offering to help me get revenge. Why? What do you get out of this? He studies me for a long moment, those strange eyes seeing more than I want them to see. 10 years ago, he says finally, I failed to save a lunar wolf. I watched them die because I didn't act quickly enough, didn't have the knowledge I needed. I made myself a promise that day. If I ever found another lunar wolf, I would do everything in my power to protect them, to give them the life they deserved. So this is about keeping a promise. It started that way, he admits. But it's become more than that. You're not just a lunar wolf, Lyra. You're brave, resilient, stronger than you know, and you deserve justice for what was done to you. Something in my chest tightens at his words, at the genuine conviction in his voice. I don't know how to be what I am, I confess. I spent 17 years believing I was weak. I don't know how to be powerful. You'll learn. He offers me his hand. I'll teach you. We'll figure it out together. I look at his hand, strong, scarred, steady. The hand of someone who's fought battles I can't imagine, who's carried responsibilities I can't comprehend, but who's offering to carry this burden with me. I take his hand. Together. I agree. His fingers close around mine, and I feel it again, that connection that's not the mate bond but something else. Something chosen, not destined. Something that might be even more powerful because of that choice. Rest a few more hours, he says. Tonight will be overwhelming. The whole pack will be there, and they'll all want to see the lunar wolf. You'll need your strength. Will you stay? The question slips out before I can stop it. Just for a little while? I don't want to be alone. Something soft crosses his face. Of course. He settles into the chair Elena vacated, and we sit in comfortable silence, him watching over me feeling safer than I have in years, and for the first time since Callum rejected me, for the first time since my world fell apart, I feel like maybe, just maybe, I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be, not because the moon goddess destined it, but because I chose it. And sometimes, chosen fates are the most powerful ones of all. That evening, the gathering is held in the largest hall in the palace, a space that can hold over 1,000 wolves. Elena helps me dress and clothes. Damon sent a silver gown that shimmers like moonlight, fitted but elegant, making the silver streak in my hair glow even brighter. You look like a queen, Elena says, pinning the last section of my hair. I look terrified. I correct. That too, but mostly like a queen. Damon comes to escort me personally, and the sight of him in formal attire, all black, except for a silver insignia on his chest, makes my mouth go dry. He looks every inch the Alpha King, powerful and dangerous and absolutely magnetic. Ready? He asks. No, but let's do it anyway. He offers his arm, and I take it, letting him lead me through corridors filled with wolves. They all stop to stare as we pass, their eyes widening, their heads bowing. They can feel it, I realize. Feel what I am, even if they don't know the specifics yet. We reach the doors to the great hall, and I can hear the murmur of hundreds of voices beyond. Breathe, Damon murmurs. You're not alone. I'm right here. Don't leave me, I whisper. Never, he promises. The doors open. The hall falls silent, and together, we walk into my new life. Chapter 6. The Gathering and the Challenge. 1,000 wolves fall silent as we enter. The great hall is magnificent, vaulted ceilings, decorated with murals of ancient battles, chandeliers that cast warm light over the assembled crowd, and at the far end, a raised platform with 2 throne-like chairs. The pack is arranged by rank, creating a natural hierarchy that flows from the platform outward. Every eye tracks our movement as Damon leads me down the center aisle. I can feel their curiosity, their speculation, their assessment. Some faces show intrigue, others confusion, and a very few show something that looks like recognition, like they know what I am before Damon even speaks. We reach the platform, and Damon guides me to stand beside one of the chairs while he takes his place in front of the other. He doesn't sit. Instead, he surveys his pack with those glowing eyes, letting the tension build. "My wolves," he finally says, his voice carrying effortlessly through the vast space. "Thank you for gathering on such short notice. I've called you here tonight to introduce someone important, someone who will be living among us under my direct protection." Murmurs ripple through the crowd. Protection from the Alpha King isn't given lightly. "This is Lyra Winterborn," Damon continues, gesturing toward me. "Some of you may know her story. She was recently rejected by her fated mate in Crescent Moon Pack. But what her pack didn't know, what even she didn't know until 2 days ago, is what she truly is." The murmurs grow louder. I can feel hundreds of wolves leaning forward, desperate to understand why the Alpha King would care about a rejected Omega. "Lyra Winterborn is a lunar wolf," Damon announces, and the hall erupts. Gasps, exclamations, denials. Wolves turning to each other in shock and disbelief. A few the oldest ones. The ones who might remember the last lunar wolf drop to their knees immediately, their heads bowed in reverence. "A lunar wolf hasn't been born in 300 years, someone shouts from the crowd. "Until now," Damon says firmly. "I've verified it myself, with the help of Grandmother Iris. Lyra was cursed as a child, her true nature suppressed. But the curse has been broken. She is what I say she is." "Prove it," another voice calls out. "Let her shift. Let us see." A rumble of agreement moves through the crowd. They want proof. They need to see it with their own eyes. Damon's jaw tightens. She's not ready to shift yet. Her body is still adjusting. Then how can we know? The challenger steps forward, and I recognize him, a large, muscular wolf with beta markings. "Any wolf can claim to be blessed by the moon goddess. We need proof, Your Majesty. It's a reasonable request, actually. And denying it will only breed suspicion and resentment." "I'll do it," I say quietly, touching Damon's arm. He turns to me, his expression fierce. "Lyra, you're not ready. It's only been 2 days since—" "I know." I meet his eyes, trying to show him I'm serious. But they're right. They need to see. And I need to know what I am. What I really am. If you shift too soon, you could hurt yourself. The transformation might not be stable. "Then stay close," I interrupt. "Catch me if I fall." We stare at each other for a long moment, some silent conversation happening between us. Finally, he nods. Just once. "Very well." He turns back to the crowd. "Clear the center of the hall. Lyra will shift." The wolves scramble to obey, creating a wide circle in the middle of the space. Damon leads me down from the platform, his hand on the small of my back, steady and reassuring. "Are you sure?" he murmurs, too quiet for anyone else to hear. "No, but I'm doing it anyway." A hint of a smile crosses his face. "That's becoming your signature move." We reach the center of the circle, and Damon steps back, giving me room. I'm suddenly acutely aware that I'm wearing a very expensive dress that's about to be destroyed, but that seems like the least of my problems. I close my eyes and reach for my wolf. She's there immediately, surging forward with eager energy. She wants this. Wants to be seen, to be known, to show the world what they tried to bury. The shift begins, and it's nothing like it's ever been before. Usually, shifting is painful, bones breaking and reforming, muscles tearing and rebuilding, a necessary violence to transform from human to wolf. But this is different. This is ecstasy. Power floods through me as my wolf takes control, reshaping our form with a grace I've never felt. My bones don't break, they flow. My muscles don't tear, they expand. The transformation happens in seconds instead of minutes. Smooth and seamless and completely natural. And then I'm standing on 4 legs, and the world looks different. Sharper, clearer, more vibrant. I can smell individual wolves in the crowd, their emotions, their health, their rank. Can hear heartbeats 100 feet away. Can feel the pull of the moon even though we're inside, even though it's not visible. But more than that, I can feel my size, my power. I'm huge. Easily the size of an alpha male, possibly larger. My fur is silver white, shimmering with an ethereal glow that casts light across the stone floor. My eyes, I can't see them, but I can feel them burning with that strange lunar luminescence. The hall is completely silent. Every wolf frozen, staring at me with expressions ranging from awe to terror to reverence. Then, as one, they drop to their knees. All of them, even the betas, even the ranked wolves who would normally only bow to the Alpha King himself. All, except Damon. He stands before me, his eyes meeting mine, and something passes between us. Recognition, respect, maybe even something more. Behold, he says, his voice carrying through the silent hall. A lunar wolf. Blessed by the moon goddess herself. Under my protection. And therefore under the protection of this entire pack. He holds my gaze, and I see the question there. Are you okay? I'm more than okay. I'm powerful. I'm free. I'm everything I was supposed to be. I shift back to human form. And again, it's effortless. Smooth. Natural. Elena appears immediately with a robe, wrapping it around me before anyone can see too much. And I'm grateful for her efficiency. Does anyone else require proof? Damon asks, a dangerous edge to his voice. Silence. No one dares speak. Good. Then let me be absolutely clear. His alpha power radiates outward, making even me want to bare my throat in submission. Lyra Winterborn is under my personal protection. Anyone who harms her, threatens her, or even speaks ill of her will answer directly to me. Is that understood? A chorus of "Yes, Your Majesty" echoes through the hall. Excellent. Now, Damon begins, but he's cut off by a commotion at the hall's entrance. The doors burst open, and a group of wolves enters. They're clearly not from this pack, their clothes mark them as travelers, and their bearing suggests they're ranked wolves from somewhere else. But it's the man leading them who makes my blood run cold. Callum Thorne, my rejected mate. Here, in Damon's hall, looking shocked and furious in equal measure. What is the meaning of this interruption? Damon's voice drops to something lethal. This is a private pack gathering. Alpha King, Callum says, bowing his head in a show of respect that seems forced. Forgive the intrusion. We've traveled from Crescent Moon Pack with urgent news for you. What news requires you to barge into my hall unannounced? News about Callum's eyes find me, and shock registers on his face. Lyra? What are you doing here? I don't answer. Can't answer. My throat has closed up with the sudden surge of emotions, anger, hurt, humiliation, and beneath it all, a small voice wondering if he regrets his rejection now that he can see what I really am. Miss Winterborn is my guest, Damon says coldly. And you didn't answer my question. What news? Callum tears his gaze from me with visible effort. Alpha Dominic sent us to inform you that there's been an incident. A witch was found dead on our territory 3 days ago. Murdered. We believe it might be connected to the old magic you were investigating. The temperature in the hall seems to drop 10 degrees. Damon's power surges, making the air crackle with tension. A witch? He asks, too calmly. What witch? We don't know her name yet. But she was old, Your Majesty. Very old. And she had marks of dark magic use all over her body. Callum hesitates. The elders think she might have been the one who cursed someone in our pack. Morgana Thorne. It has to be. The witch who disappeared 17 years ago, now turning up dead on the same territory where she placed the curse. That's convenient timing, Damon says. And there's no mistaking the suspicion in his voice. A witch connected to dark magic shows up dead just days after I visit your pack, investigating a curse. Your Majesty, I assure you, we had nothing to do with. Didn't you? Damon steps forward, and Callum actually backs up. Tell me, Callum Thorne, does the name Morgana Thorne mean anything to you? Callum's face goes pale. She's my great aunt. But she disappeared before I was born. No one's heard from her in 17 years, I say, finding my voice. She disappeared 17 years ago, right after I was cursed. Callum's eyes snap back to me. Cursed? Lyra, what are you talking about? I'm talking about the suppression curse that was placed on me when I was 6 years old. The curse that made me appear weak, made my wolf seem small, gave you every excuse to reject me as worthless. My voice is steady now, cold. The curse that your great aunt probably cast. That's insane, Callum sputters. Why would my family curse you? We didn't even know you back then. Didn't you? Damon interrupts. Your families have lived in the same pack for generations. Your father is the Alpha's nephew, her father is the Beta. You're telling me there's no connection? I'm telling you I had nothing to do with any curse. Callum's face is flushed now, angry and defensive. And neither did my family. My great aunt was always strange, always into dark magic. But she disappeared long before. Before what? I ask. Before I became inconvenient? Before I could challenge your family's position in the pack? You couldn't challenge anyone, Callum snaps, then seems to realize what he said. I mean, before the curse was broken, you were weak. I finish for him. Yes, I was. Because someone made me weak. Someone who didn't want me to grow into my power. What power? But even as he asks, I see understanding dawn on his face, see him take in the silver in my hair, the glow in my eyes, the way every wolf in this hall is watching me with reverence. No, you can't be a lunar wolf, Damon confirms. The mate you rejected is one of the rarest, most powerful wolves in existence. She was always meant to be extraordinary. Someone just made sure she never realized it. The color drains from Callum's face completely. He stares at me like he's seeing a ghost. If I had known, you would have done what? I ask, and I'm surprised by how calm I sound. Kept me? Used me? Tried to control my power for your own gain? I would have. He stops, seeming to realize there's no good answer. Lyra, I'm sorry. I didn't know. You have to believe me. I don't have to believe anything. I step closer to him, and I see him flinch. Good. You rejected me, Callum. You looked at me, and decided I wasn't worth keeping. That rejection saved my life, brought me here, led to the curse being broken. So maybe I should be thanking you. Lyra, don't. I hold up a hand. You made your choice. Now live with it. The hall is silent. Everyone watching this confrontation play out, watching the rejected Omega face down the mate who cast her aside. The witch's body, Damon says, drawing attention back to the larger issue. I want to see it. And I want access to the Thorne family records, going back at least 20 years. Your Majesty, I'm not sure my family will. I wasn't asking for permission. Damon's voice drops to something dangerous. A lunar wolf was cursed on your pack's territory, possibly by a member of your own family. That makes this my business. You can cooperate willingly, or I can make cooperation mandatory. Your choice. Callum swallows hard. Of course, Your Majesty. Whatever you need. Good. We'll return to Crescent Moon Pack tomorrow. Damon turns to me. If you're ready, am I ready to go back? To face the pack that pitied me, the mate who rejected me, the family that might have been responsible for cursing me? No. But I'm going anyway. I'm ready. I say. Then it's settled. Damon addresses the hall. This gathering is concluded. Return to your homes. We have much to prepare. The wolves begin to disperse, but I catch Callum staring at me. There's regret in his eyes, maybe even longing. Like he's only now seeing what he threw away. Too late. Far too late. I turn my back on him and follow Damon from the hall, leaving my rejected mate to stew in his own mistakes. Later that night, I can't sleep. Again. Tomorrow, I'll return to Crescent Moon Pack not as the broken, rejected Omega who left, but as something entirely different. A lunar wolf under the Alpha King's protection. Someone with power and purpose. But beneath the anticipation, there's fear. What if Morgana Thorne's death isn't a coincidence? What if someone killed her to cover their tracks? What if going back puts me in danger? A soft knock at my door interrupts my spiraling thoughts. "Come in," I call. Damon enters, still dressed from the gathering, looking tired in a way I haven't seen before. Like the weight of his responsibilities is particularly heavy tonight. "Can't sleep either?" I ask. "Too much to think about." He sits in the chair by my bed, the same one he's occupied before, like it's becoming his place. "How are you feeling? That was a lot for one evening." "I'm okay. Better than okay, actually." I pull my knees up to my chest, seeing Callum's face when he realized what I am. That felt good. Is that terrible? It's human. A slight smile crosses his face. Or Wolf. Whatever applies. We sit in comfortable silence for a moment, and I'm struck again by how easy it is to be around him, how safe I feel in his presence. "Damon," I say quietly, "what happens if we find proof that the Thorns cursed me? What happens to them?" His expression hardens. "Then they'll face justice. No one curses a child and walks away unpunished. Not in my territory. Even if it causes problems with Crescent Moon Pack? Even if Alpha Dominic objects? Even then." He leans forward, his eyes intense. "You need to understand something, Lyra. You're not just any wolf now. You're a lunar wolf, blessed by the moon goddess herself. Harming you is an offense against the divine. Any alpha worth his position would demand justice. And if they don't, then I'll take it anyway." There's no compromise in his voice. "I've already failed one lunar wolf. I won't fail another." The vehemence in his words makes something warm bloom in my chest. When was the last time someone fought for me? Protected me? Valued me enough to risk political complications? Never. The answer is never. "Thank you," I whisper. "For everything. For finding me. For breaking the curse. For believing in me when no one else did." "You don't need to thank me." But his expression softens. "You've thanked me enough times, Lyra. What you should do is start believing what I've been telling you. You're extraordinary. With or without your lunar wolf power, you're brave and strong and worthy of everything good." Tears prick at my eyes. I'm trying to believe that. "I know." He stands, moving toward the door. "Get some rest. Tomorrow will be difficult, but you won't face it alone. I promise." "Damon?" He pauses at the door, turning back. "Will you stay? Just until I fall asleep?" I know it's childish, but it's not childish. He returns to the chair, settling in. "And yes, I'll stay." I lie down, pulling the blankets up, and close my eyes. His presence is like an anchor, keeping me tethered, keeping me safe. "Lyra?" His voice is soft in the darkness. "Yes? For what it's worth. I'm glad I found you." I smile into my pillow. "I'm glad you found me too." Sleep comes easier this time, with the Alpha King watching over me, and my dreams for once are peaceful. Tomorrow, we go back to where it all began. Tomorrow, we find answers. Tomorrow, I face my past with the power to change my future. And I'm not afraid. Not anymore. Hit subscribe if watching Lyra stand up to the mate who threw her away felt like justice you needed to see. Because rejected wolves like her deserve an audience that won't look away when the truth gets uncomfortable. Comment below if you've ever been told you weren't enough. Lyra's standing for all of us who were made to feel small. Chapter 7. Return to Crescent Moon Pack. The motorcade leaves at dawn, just like before. But everything else is different. This time, I ride in the lead vehicle with Damon. This time, I'm not running away, I'm returning with power. This time, I'm not alone. Riker drives while Damon works on a tablet beside me, reviewing documents and making notes. Every so often, he'll glance at me, checking without asking if I'm okay. I appreciate the silent support more than words could convey. "Nervous?" he finally asks as we cross into Crescent Moon territory. "Terrified," I admit. What if they hate me now? What if they think I've gotten above myself, coming back with the Alpha King like I'm something special? "You are something special." He sets down the tablet, giving me his full attention. "And if they hate you for claiming your power, for refusing to stay small and broken, then that says everything about them and nothing about you. Easy for you to say." You've always been powerful. Have I? Something dark flickers in his eyes. I wasn't born an alpha king. Lyra, I had to fight for this position. Had to prove myself over and over, and there were plenty of wolves who hated me for it. Who thought I was too young, too aggressive, too unwilling to accept the old ways. I turned to face him fully. What happened to them? Some came around. Learned to respect strength over tradition. His smile is sharp. Others didn't, and they're no longer in positions to complain. The implication is clear. Damon didn't just earn his crown, he took it, defended it. Made sure everyone knew challenging him was suicide. I'm not good at being feared, I say quietly. You don't have to be. You just have to be yourself. The rest will follow. He reaches over and squeezes my hand briefly. Besides, you have me. Anyone who wants to get to you has to go through me first. The casual possessiveness in his words shouldn't make my heart race, but it does. We arrive at Crescent Moon Pack's main compound just after noon. Word of our arrival must have spread, because what seems like the entire pack has gathered in the central square. I see familiar faces, my parents near the front, May bouncing on her toes with barely contained excitement, Alpha Dominic looking simultaneously welcoming and nervous, and there, standing with the ranked wolves, is Callum. He's not looking at the motorcade. He's staring at the ground, his shoulders tense, his jaw clenched. Good. Let him stew. The vehicles stop, and Riker opens Damon's door first, then comes around for mine. I step out into the afternoon sunlight, and the crowd's reaction is immediate. Gasps, whispers. Wolves pressing closer to get a better look at me, at what I've become. I'm wearing clothes Elena selected, sleek black pants, a silver blouse that matches the streak in my hair, and boots made for both fashion and function. I look nothing like the broken girl who left here days ago. Lyra. My mother breaks free from the crowd, rushing toward me with tears streaming down her face. Oh, my baby, look at you. She hugs me fiercely, and I hug her back, breathing in her familiar scent. My father joins us, his arms coming around us both, and for a moment, I'm just their daughter again. Not a lunar wolf, not someone important. Just Lyra. We heard what happened, my father murmurs. That you're what you are. I can't believe we never knew. No one knew, I say, pulling back to look at them. That was the point of the curse, which we will be investigating thoroughly, Damon says, joining us. His presence immediately makes the crowd quiet, every wolf turning their attention to him. Alpha Dominic, shall we speak privately? Of course, Your Majesty. Dominic gestures toward the Alpha House. I've prepared rooms for you and your men. And the body is being kept in cold storage. As you requested. Good. We'll examine it after we've settled in. Damon glances at me. Lyra, you should spend time with your family. I'll send for you when we're ready to investigate. It's not a request, but it's not quite a command either. More like a suggestion from someone who wants me to be comfortable. The consideration makes something warm bloom in my chest. Okay. I agree. Damon and his men follow Dominic toward the Alpha House, leaving me with my parents and the crowd of curious onlookers. May appears at my side immediately, linking her arm through mine. You have to tell me everything, she demands. Everything. What's the capital like? What's the Alpha King like? Are the rumors about his palace true? Does he really have a throne room made of silver? May, let her breathe. My mother chides, but she's smiling. We walk back to our family home, and it feels surreal. Everything looks the same streets I walked as a child, the same houses, the same trees. But I'm different, fundamentally, irreversibly different. Inside, my mother immediately starts making tea while May peppers me with questions. My father sits heavily in his chair, studying me with an expression I can't quite read. Dad? I ask. What's wrong? Nothing's wrong. I'm just... He shakes his head. I'm trying to understand how we missed it. How we didn't know our own daughter was cursed. What kind of father doesn't notice something like that? The kind whose daughter was cursed by a witch powerful enough to hide all evidence. I say, firmly, this isn't your fault. None of this is your fault. But the thorn is. His face darkens. If they really did curse you, if they knew what you were and tried to suppress it, that's an act of war against our family, against the entire pack, which is why the Alpha King is investigating, my mother says, bringing over tea. Let him handle it, love. That's what Alpha Kings do, they handle the big problems so we don't have to. We spend the next hour talking. I tell them about the capital, about Elena and Riker, about the curse-breaking ritual and how painful it was. I tell them about shifting into my true form for the first time, about the gathering where the pack saw what I really am. I don't tell them about the nights Damon sat with me, or the way he looks at me sometimes, or how safe I feel in his presence. Some things are too new, too complicated to put into words. A knock at the door interrupts us. One of Damon's guards stands there, his expression professional. "Miss Winterbourne," he says. "The king requests your presence." They're ready to examine the body. My stomach clenches. "Now?" "Yes, miss." I look at my parents, and my mother squeezes my hand. "Go. We'll be here when you're done." The guard leads me to a building I've never paid much attention to before, the pack's medical facility. It's small compared to what they must have in the capital, but well maintained. We enter through a side door and descend into a basement level that's significantly colder than the rest of the building. Damon is there, along with Iris, Alpha Dominic, and Callum. They're all standing around a metal table, and on that table, covered by a white sheet, is obviously a body. "Lyra," Damon says, his voice gentle. "You don't have to be here for this if you don't want to." "I want to," I say, moving closer. "If this witch cursed me, I need to see her, need to know who hurt me." He nods, then looks at Iris. "Are you ready?" The old witch steps forward, her expression grave. "As ready as I'll ever be." Death magic leaves a trace, but it won't be pleasant to witness. "Death magic?" Dominic repeats, alarmed. "You think she was killed with magic?" "I'll know in a moment." Iris pulls back the sheet. The woman on the table is ancient, even more so than Iris. Her face is sunken, her body withered, but there's no mistaking the marks of power on her skin. Tattoos cover her arms and chest, symbols that seem to writhe even though she's dead. Her eyes are open, milky white, staring at nothing. "Morgana Thorne," Callum says quietly. "I've seen pictures. That's her." "Your great-aunt," I say, staring at the woman who might have stolen my childhood. "Yes." Callum won't look at me. "I never met her. She left before I was born." Iris places her hands on the body's forehead and begins to chant. The air grows thick with power, and the tattoos on the corpse's skin start to glow with a sickly green light. "She was definitely a dark magic practitioner," Iris murmurs, her eyes closed in concentration. "Very powerful, very skilled." She pauses, her expression darkening. "And yes, she was killed with magic. Death curse, specifically. Quick, but painful." "Who killed her?" Damon demands. "I can't tell you that. Death curses don't leave signatures, that's part of their design." Iris opens her eyes, removing her hands from the body. "But I can tell you when. She died approximately 4 days ago. Shortly after you left this pack, Your Majesty. The timing is too perfect to be coincidence. Someone killed Morgana right after Damon started investigating the curse. Someone who didn't want her talking. Can you tell if she cast a suppression curse?" I ask. "On me, specifically?" Iris studies the body for a long moment, then reaches for one of the tattooed arms. She traces a specific symbol, and it flares brighter than the others. "This is a curse mark," she says. "It indicates a major curse was cast." And she closes her eyes again, muttering under her breath. "Yes, I can feel the echo of it. A suppression curse, placed on a child. Approximately 17 years ago. The confirmation hits me like a physical blow. This woman, this witch cursed me, stole my childhood, my power, my future, made me believe I was weak when I was strong. Why?" I whisper. "Why would she do it?" "That's what we need to find out," Damon says. He turns to Callum. "Your family records. I need to see them. Now." Callum's face is pale. "Your Majesty, I swear, we didn't know." My family were not involved with dark magic. We wouldn't. Your great-aunt was involved with dark magic, Damon interrupts coldly. She cursed a child who grew up in the same pack as you. Your family has questions to answer, whether you knew about it or not. The records are at my family's home, Callum says quietly. I'll take you there. We leave the medical facility in a grim procession. Damon, Iris, Riker, myself, Callum, and Alpha Dominic. The Thorn family home is on the edge of the Pack's territory, a large house that speaks of old money and established power. Callum's father, the Alpha's nephew, meets us at the door. He's an older version of Callum, with the same amber eyes and sharp features. But there's a hardness to him that his son lacks. Alpha King, he says, bowing his head. This is unexpected. How can I help you? We need to see your family records, Damon says bluntly. Specifically, anything relating to Morgana Thorn and the time period 17 years ago. The man's expression doesn't change, but I see his jaw tighten. May I ask why? No. Damon's voice drops to something dangerous. You may show me the records, or I can have my men tear this house apart looking for them. Your choice. After a tense moment, Callum's father nods. This way. He leads us to a study lined with bookshelves and pulls out a leather-bound journal. This is the family chronicle. It records major events, births, deaths, important decisions. Damon takes the journal and begins flipping through it. I move closer, reading over his shoulder. The entries are dated, written in various hands across decades. Then Damon stops. His finger points to an entry dated 17 years ago, just a few months after I would have been cursed. Payment rendered to MT for services regarding the Beta's daughter. The girl's power has been successfully contained. The bloodline is secure. The words swim before my eyes. Payment, services, my power contained. The bloodline is secure? I read aloud, my voice shaking. What does that mean? Callum's father has gone completely white. I don't know. I was young when that was written. I didn't know. Who wrote this? Damon demands. My father. He died 10 years ago. How convenient. Damon's eyes are glowing now, power radiating off him in waves. Your father paid to have a child cursed. Why? I don't know. The man actually backs up, fear evident on his face. I swear, I knew nothing about this. But you can guess, I say, and suddenly I understand. You can guess why your father would want to contain my power, why securing the bloodline would matter. The man says nothing, but his silence is answer enough. Tell them, Callum says quietly. He's staring at his father with something like horror. Tell them the truth. His father closes his eyes. There was a prophecy, he says finally. When Lyra was born, one of the Pack's seers had a vision. She said that the Beta's daughter would one day be more powerful than any Alpha, that she would change the Pack's hierarchy, threaten the established order. So, you cursed her, Damon says, his voice deadly calm. You paid a dark witch to suppress a child because you were afraid she might be powerful enough to challenge your position. It wasn't just about position, the man protests weakly. The seer said her power could destroy the Pack if it wasn't controlled. We thought we were protecting everyone. You thought you were protecting yourselves, I interrupt. My voice is cold, emotionless, but inside I'm screaming. You were afraid a 6-year-old girl might someday be strong enough to threaten your family's status, so you cursed her. Made her weak, made her believe she was worthless. And when your son rejected me as his mate, that was just the final way to keep me in my place, wasn't it? Lyra, I didn't know, Callum says desperately. I swear, I had no idea about any of this. Didn't you? I turn on him, and I see him flinch. Your family cursed me, and you rejected me. Whether you knew the details or not, you played your part perfectly. This is an outrage, Alpha Dominic says, his voice shaking with fury. The Thorns will answer for this. They've violated Pack law, divine law. They've violated my law. Damon interrupts. And they'll answer to me. He turns to Riker. Take Callum's father into custody. He'll be tried in the capital for conspiracy to curse a lunar wolf. You can't do that, the man sputters. I'm a ranked wolf in this Pack. Alpha Dominic has jurisdiction. Alpha Dominic failed to protect one of his own, Damon says coldly. The moment you cursed a child blessed by the moon goddess, you made this my business. You'll stand trial before me. And if you're found guilty, you'll face the appropriate punishment. 2 of Damon's guards step forward, grabbing Callum's father by the arms. He struggles briefly, then seems to realize the futility, and goes limp. "What about me?" Callum asks quietly. "I didn't know. I didn't do anything." "You rejected your mate," I say. "Based on the false weakness your family created. You might not have known about the curse, but you still hurt me. Still cast me aside like I was nothing." "I'm sorry," he whispers. "Lyra, I'm so sorry. Your apology means nothing." The words are harsh, but they're true. You made your choice. Now live with it. Damon's hand touches my lower back, gentle and grounding. "Are you ready to leave?" he asks quietly. I look around the study at the journal that contains the evidence of my curse, at Callum, standing there, looking broken, at his father being led away in chains. This is what closure looks like. Not clean, not satisfying, just done. "Yes," I say. "I'm ready." We leave the Thorn house and return to the Alpha's compound. My parents are waiting there, and my mother takes one look at my face and pulls me into her arms. "They did it," I tell her. "The Thorns. They paid to have me cursed because they were afraid of what I might become." She holds me tighter, and I feel her tears soaking into my hair. "I'm so sorry, baby. I'm so sorry we didn't protect you. It's not your fault. And I mean it. This isn't about my parents, or even about me. This is about fear, fear of change, fear of losing power, fear of a future they couldn't control. We'll leave in the morning," Damon says. "Give you tonight with your family." I pull back from my mother. "Thank you." He nods, then turns to leave. But I catch his arm, stopping him. "Damon?" I say quietly, so only he can hear. "Thank you, for getting justice, for not letting them get away with what they did." His eyes soften. "Always, Lyra. I'll always fight for you." And in that moment, looking into his eyes, feeling his steady presence, I realize something that terrifies and thrills me in equal measure. I'm falling for the Alpha King. Not because of a mate bond, not because of destiny or fate or the moon goddess's design, but because he sees me, all of me, the broken parts and the powerful parts, the fears and the strength, and he values it all. This wasn't what I expected when he claimed me. But maybe it's exactly what I needed. Chapter 8. The Trial and the Choice. The trial is held 1 week later in the capital's grand courtroom, a space designed to be imposing, with vaulted ceilings, marble columns, and a raised platform where Damon sits in judgment. The room is packed with wolves from across the territory, all come to witness justice for a crime that shocked the entire supernatural community, cursing a lunar wolf. There's barely precedent for it. I sit in the front row, flanked by my parents on one side and Elena on the other. Across the aisle, I can see members of the Thorn family who made the journey from Crescent Moonpack, including Callum, who hasn't stopped staring at me since he entered the room. I refuse to look at him. He doesn't deserve even that much acknowledgement. Damon enters, and the entire courtroom rises as one. He's dressed in formal robes, black trimmed with silver that make him look every inch the king he is. Powerful, commanding, absolutely in control. His eyes scan the room, lingering on me for just a moment, and I see the question there. "Are you okay?" I nod slightly. "I am okay. Or, I will be, once this is over." "Be seated," Damon commands, and everyone obeys instantly. The proceedings begin with Riker reading the charges. "Garrett Thorn, you stand accused of conspiracy to curse a minor, conspiracy to suppress a lunar wolf's power, and violation of divine law. How do you plead?" Garrett Callum's father stands with his hands bound in silver chains. He looks older than he did a week ago, diminished somehow, but there's still defiance in his eyes. "Not guilty, Your Majesty," he says. "I acted to protect my pack." "You acted to protect your position," Damon interrupts coldly. "But we'll let the evidence speak. Present the first witness." Iris shuffles forward, leaning heavily on a cane but with her eyes still sharp and bright. She's sworn in, then begins her testimony about the curse she found on Morgana's body. The timing of it, the clear evidence that it was cast on a child. And you're certain this curse was the one placed on Miss Winterbourne? The prosecutor asks. Absolutely certain, Iris confirms. The magical signature matches perfectly. Morgana Thorne cast a suppression curse on Lyra Winterbourne 17 years ago, and that curse remained in place until the Alpha King broke it 2 weeks ago. Next comes testimony from the pack's old seer, a woman I barely remember, now ancient and frail. She's brought forward in a wheelchair, but her voice is steady as she recounts the prophecy. I saw it the day she was born, the seer says. The Beta's daughter, marked by the moon goddess herself. I saw her rising to power, changing the old ways, threatening those who clung to tradition. I reported this to the Alpha, as was my duty. And what did the Alpha do with this information? The prosecutor asks. He called a meeting of the ranked families, told them about the prophecy, said they needed to decide how to handle it. She pauses, her milky eyes somehow finding me in the crowd. I never meant for you to be hurt, child. I only reported what I saw. What happened at that meeting? The prosecutor presses. I wasn't there. But 3 days later, Garrett Thorne approached me, asked if there was a way to suppress the girl's power, to contain the prophecy. Her voice drops. I told him it would require dark magic. He said he'd handle it. The courtroom erupts in whispers. Damon lets it continue for a moment, then raises his hand for silence. Did you know he was going to curse her? The prosecutor asks. I suspected. But I had no proof, and by the time I could investigate, it was done. The girl seemed normal, weak even. I thought perhaps I'd been wrong about the prophecy. She looks at me again. I'm sorry, I should have fought harder. The testimony continues. Other witnesses come forward, pack members who remember Morgana Thorne, who saw Garrett meeting with her, who noticed how I went from a normal child to a strangely weak one almost overnight. Then comes the moment I've been dreading, my turn to testify. I stand on shaking legs and make my way to the witness stand. The courtroom feels massive suddenly, all those eyes watching, judging, waiting to see if the cursed girl can hold herself together. I'm sworn in, and the prosecutor begins gently. Miss Winterbourne, can you describe your childhood? Specifically, how you perceived your wolf? I take a breath. I always felt wrong. Like my wolf was too small for my body, like she was locked away behind glass. I couldn't shift properly until I was 7, and even then, it was painful and incomplete. Everyone said I was weak, that I was a late bloomer. Eventually, I believed them. How did this affect your life? I was bullied, pitied, treated as lesser by wolves who should have been my peers. My voice steadies, and when I met my fated mate, he took one look at me and decided I wasn't worth keeping. He rejected me based on the very weakness that had been forced on me. I see Callum flinch in my peripheral vision. Good. And now? The prosecutor asks. Now that the curse is broken? Now I understand that everything I believed about myself was a lie, that I was never weak, I was suppressed, that my entire identity was built on a foundation of someone else's fear and cruelty. I look directly at Garrett. Someone stole my childhood because they were afraid of what I might become, and I want justice for that. The prosecutor nods. Thank you, Miss Winterbourne. No further questions. Garrett's defense attorney stands a slick-looking wolf who probably costs more than most families make in a year. Miss Winterbourne, isn't it true that you've benefited significantly from this curse being broken? You now live in the capital, under the Alpha King's personal protection. You have resources and opportunities you never would have had in your home pack. Objection, the prosecutor says. Relevance? I'm establishing that Miss Winterbourne has motivation to exaggerate the harm done to her. The defense attorney says smoothly. Damon's eyes flash dangerously, but he allows it. Overruled. But tread carefully, counsel. The defense attorney turns back to me. So, haven't you benefited from these circumstances? You're asking if being cursed as a child was worth the palace suite I have now? I say slowly, and I hear the ice in my own voice. Is that really your question? I'm asking if your current comfortable position might influence your testimony. My current position exists because someone tried to destroy me and failed. I interrupt. Because the Alpha King broke a curse that should never have been placed. Yes, I have opportunities now. But I also have 17 years of pain, humiliation, and self-hatred that I'll carry forever. So no, counsel, I haven't benefited from being cursed. I've survived it. There's a difference. The defense attorney backs down, clearly realizing he's not going to score points by attacking me. No further questions. I return to my seat, and my mother squeezes my hand. You did well, she whispers. The trial continues for hours. More witnesses, more evidence, more testimony about Garrett's meetings with Morgana, about payments made in secret, about the prophecy that started it all. Finally, Garrett himself takes the stand. I did what I thought was right, he says, his voice steady despite the chains. The seer's prophecy was terrifying. She said this girl would threaten the pack's stability, that her power could destroy everything we'd built. I was trying to protect my family, my pack, my way of life. By cursing a 6-year-old child? The prosecutor asks incredulously. By containing a threat before it could manifest. Garrett's eyes find mine. I'm not sorry I did it. I'm only sorry it didn't work permanently. The courtroom explodes. Wolves shouting, calling for his blood, demanding immediate punishment. Even Damon looks shocked by the blatant lack of remorse. Order. Damon's voice cuts through the chaos like a blade. There will be order in this court. Silence falls, but the anger remains, thick and palpable. You stand before this court, confess to cursing a child blessed by the moon goddess herself, and claim you're not sorry? Damon's voice is deadly quiet now. You feel no remorse for stealing 17 years of her life? For causing her pain, humiliation, rejection? I feel regret that it wasn't permanent, Garrett says, and there's actual hatred in his eyes now. Because now she's exactly what we feared. Powerful, protected, positioned to threaten everything we've built. I threaten nothing, I say, standing. I shouldn't speak, should wait for the verdict, but I can't stay silent. I just want to be free, to live without someone deciding my power is too dangerous to exist. Your power is dangerous, Garrett spits. Lunar wolves have toppled dynasties, destroyed packs, reshaped entire territories. You think you're different? You're not. Give it time, and you'll do the same. That's enough, Damon says, standing. His power floods the room, making every wolf bare their throat in automatic submission. I've heard enough. This court will recess for 1 hour while I consider the verdict. He leaves through the back door, and guards escort Garrett back to holding. The courtroom slowly empties, wolves heading outside to discuss what they've witnessed. I stay seated, unable to move. Garrett's words echoing in my mind. Your power is dangerous. You'll destroy everything. He's wrong, my father says beside me. You're not dangerous. You're strong. There's a difference. Is there? I look at him. He cursed me because he was afraid of what I might become. What if he was right to be afraid? Then everyone should be afraid of everyone, May says fiercely. She's appeared at my other side, her eyes bright with anger. Everyone has the potential to hurt others. That doesn't mean we get to suppress them preemptively. She's right. I know she's right. But the doubt has been planted, and it's growing roots. Elena appears at my shoulder. The king wants to see you. In his chambers. I follow her through corridors I'm starting to know by heart, to the private rooms Damon uses when court is in session. He's standing by the window, still in his formal robes, looking out at the city below. You wanted to see me? I ask quietly. He turns, and the intensity in his eyes makes my breath catch. Are you okay? What Garrett said was designed to hurt me. I know that. I move closer. But it worked. He made me doubt myself, doubt whether I deserve this power. Lyra, what if he's right? The words burst out of me. What if lunar wolves are dangerous? What if I become the thing he was afraid of? Damon crosses the space between us in 3 strides, and takes my face in his hands, forcing me to meet his eyes. Listen to me very carefully. Power isn't dangerous. Fear of power is dangerous. Garrett didn't curse you because you were a threat. He cursed you because he was afraid of change, afraid of losing control, afraid that someone might challenge his authority. But the seer's prophecy, the seer said you'd change things, that you'd threaten the old ways. That's not the same as destroying the pack. His thumbs brush my cheekbones gently. Sometimes things need to change, Lyra. Sometimes the old ways need to be challenged. That doesn't make you a monster. That makes you necessary. I want to believe him, want to accept that my power is a gift, not a curse. But 17 years of believing I was weak, wrong, too much, and not enough all at once, that doesn't disappear overnight. What verdict are you going to give? I ask instead. His hands drop, and something dark crosses his face. The one he deserves. Garrett Thorne cursed a child out of fear and pride. He showed no remorse, admitted he'd do it again. Under my law, under divine law, there's only one appropriate punishment: death. I whisper. Yes. He studies my face. Does that bother you? I think about it. Really think about it. Garrett stole my childhood, my confidence, my sense of self. He looked at a 6-year-old girl and decided she was too dangerous to exist at full power, and given the chance, he'd do it again. No, I say finally. It doesn't bother me. He made his choice. Now he faces the consequences. Damon nods slowly. Good, because I need to know you're okay with this. This verdict isn't just about pack law or divine law. It's about you, about justice for what was done to you. I'm okay with it, I say, and I mean it. He doesn't deserve mercy. Then, let's finish this. We return to the courtroom, and Damon takes his place on the platform. The room fills quickly, everyone eager to hear the verdict. Garrett Thorne, Damon says, his voice carrying through the space. This court finds you guilty on all charges. You conspired to curse a minor. You deliberately suppressed a lunar wolf's power. You violated divine law. And when given the chance to show remorse, you instead doubled down on your actions, claiming you'd do it all again. Garrett stands straight, defiant even now. The sentence for these crimes is death, Damon continues, to be carried out immediately by Silver Blade. Do you have any final words? Garrett's eyes find mine one last time. I protected my pack. History will prove me right. History, Damon says coldly, will forget you existed. Riker, carry out the sentence. It happens quickly. Too quickly for Garrett to even scream. Riker moves with practiced efficiency, and then it's done. Garrett Thorne is dead, justice is served, and I should feel satisfied. Instead, I just feel hollow. The courtroom empties slowly. Callum approaches me as I'm leaving, his face pale, his eyes red-rimmed. Lyra, he says quietly, I know this doesn't change anything, but I'm sorry. For all of it. For my father, for the curse, for rejecting you. I was wrong about everything. I really look at him for the first time since he rejected me. And I realize something. I don't hate him anymore. I don't even feel angry. I just feel nothing. Your apology doesn't change what happened, I say. But I accept it anyway. Not for you. For me. Because I'm tired of carrying anger around. Can you ever forgive me? He asks. I don't know. Maybe someday. I turn to leave, then pause. But forgiveness doesn't mean reconciliation, Callum. It doesn't mean we go back to how things were. The mate bond is broken. You rejected me. That's not something we can undo. I know. He swallows hard. I want you to be happy, Lyra, even if it's not with me. Then you'll get your wish, I say. Because I am happy. Happier than I ever was before. It's true, I realize. Despite everything, the curse, the rejection, the trial, I'm happier now than I was when I believed I was weak. Because now I know my strength. Now I know my worth. And I know someone who sees that worth and values it. I find Damon waiting for me outside the courtroom, and without thinking, I walk straight into his arms. He catches me, holding me steady, and I breathe in his scent of winter frost and ancient forests. Thank you, I murmur against his chest. For everything, for justice, for believing in me. Always, he says, and I feel his lips brush the top of my head. I'll always believe in you. We stand like that for a long moment, and I realize that this feeling of safety, of being valued, of being seen, this is what I was always meant to find. Not through a mate bond forced by the moon goddess, but through choice. Through trust built day by day, moment by moment. Damon? I pull back to look at him. What happens now? The curse is broken. Justice is served. What comes next? He studies my face, his expression serious. That depends on you. You can go back to Crescent Moonpack if you want. Resume your life there. Or... He hesitates, and for the first time, I see uncertainty in his eyes. Or, you can stay here. In the capital. With me. My heart stutters. Stay? As what? As whatever you want to be. His hands come up to frame my face. As a member of my pack, as someone under my protection, as... He trails off, and I see him struggling with something. As what? I press. As mine, he finally says. Not because of a bond, not because of fate, but because I choose you. Because I want you here, in my life, in my pack. Because somewhere between breaking your curse and fighting for your justice, I fell for you, Lyra Winterborn, and I'm asking no, I'm begging for you to give us a chance. I stare at him, stunned. The Alpha King, powerful, commanding, untouchable, is begging me for a chance. You fell for me? I whisper. Completely. There's no hesitation in his voice now. I know it's fast. I know you've been through hell. I know you might not feel the same way. But I had to tell you. Had to let you know that this isn't just about protecting a lunar wolf anymore. This is about protecting you, wanting you, choosing you. Joy floods through me, bright and warm and overwhelming. You're right, I say. It is fast. It is crazy. And I absolutely feel the same way. His eyes widen. You do? I do. I reach up, touching his face the way he's touching mine. I don't know when it happened. Maybe when you broke my curse. Maybe when you fought for my justice. Maybe it was earlier, when you first told me I wasn't weak. But somewhere along the way, I fell for you too, Damon. Hard. The smile that crosses his face is beautiful, genuine and unguarded, and absolutely radiant. Then stay, he says. Stay here with me. Let me court you properly. Let me show you what it means to be chosen, not destined. Yes, I breathe. Yes, I'll stay. He kisses me then, a kiss that's nothing like I imagined a first kiss would be. It's not gentle or tentative. It's claiming and possessive, and full of all the emotion we've been holding back. His hands slide into my hair, tilting my head to deepen the kiss, and I melt into him, into this moment, into this choice we're making. When we finally break apart, we're both breathing hard, and I can see silver light dancing in his eyes, his wolf responding to mine, recognizing the bond we're building. I have to warn you, he says, his forehead resting against mine. I'm not an easy man to love. I'm demanding, possessive, and I have a kingdom to run. Being with me won't be simple. Good, I say, because I'm not a simple woman anymore. I'm a lunar wolf with power I'm still learning to control. I'm demanding in my own way, and I refuse to be anything less than an equal partner. His smile widens. Perfect. I wouldn't want you any other way. We stand there in the corridor, holding each other, and I feel something settle in my chest, something that feels like home, like destiny, but better because this destiny wasn't written in the stars or decreed by the moon goddess. This destiny is ours, built by choice, by trust, by love that's earned rather than given. And as Damon kisses me again, surrounded by the palace that's becoming my home, I realize something important. Sometimes being rejected by your fated mate is the best thing that can happen to you, because it frees you to find something better, something real, something chosen. And sometimes, the Alpha King, who claims you, becomes so much more than a protector. He becomes your partner, your equal, your choice, and that is more powerful than any mate bond could ever be. Epilogue. 6 months later, I'm standing on a balcony overlooking Eclipse City, watching the sun set, when Damon's arms wrap around me from behind. Penny, for your thoughts? He murmurs against my ear. Just thinking about how different my life is now. I lean back into him, feeling his solid warmth. 6 months ago, I was broken and rejected. Now I'm here, with you. Stronger than I ever imagined possible. Any regrets? Not a single one. I turn in his arms to face him, Though I do have some news that might change things. His eyes sharpen with concern. What kind of news? I got a letter today. From Alpha Dominic. I watch his expression carefully. He's retiring. The pack is holding elections for a new Alpha. And several wolves have nominated me. Damon goes very still. You want to go back? Lead Crescent Moon Pack? I don't know. I admit. Part of me wants to prove I can do it. That the girl they tried to suppress can lead them, but another part of me. I touch his face. Another part of me doesn't want to leave you. Then don't, he says simply. Appoint a proxy. Someone you trust to lead in your name while you remain here. You're a lunar wolf, Lyra. Your influence can extend across territories without you being physically present. Is that what you want? Me staying here? What I want, he says slowly, is for you to be happy. If that means leading Crescent Moon Pack, I'll support you. If that means staying here with me, I'll be grateful. And if that means something else entirely, we'll figure it out together. I kiss him softly. Together. I like the sound of that. Good. He pulls a small box from his pocket. Because I was hoping you'd say that. My heart stops. Damon, I'm not asking you to be my mate, he says quickly, opening the box to reveal a silver ring set with a moonstone. The moon goddess didn't choose us for each other, but I'm choosing you anyway. I'm asking you to be my partner, my equal, my chosen one. Will you accept this ring, Lyra? Will you build a future with me? Tears blur my vision as I look at the ring, at this man who saved me in every way a person can be saved, who saw my worth when no one else did, who taught me that chosen love is more powerful than destined love. Yes, I whisper. Yes, I'll accept your ring. I'll build a future with you. I'll choose you, every day, for the rest of my life. He slides the ring onto my finger, and it fits perfectly like it was made for me. Like this moment was always meant to happen, not because of fate, but because we chose it. I love you, he says. Not because I have to, because I want to. I love you too, I reply, and I choose you, today, tomorrow, always. As we kiss, the moonstone catches the last rays of sunlight, glowing with its own inner light. And somewhere, I like to think the moon goddess is smiling, not because she planned this, but because we found our own way to happiness. And sometimes, the best love stories are the ones we write ourselves. Subscribe if Lyra's journey from broken to powerful reminded you that your story isn't over yet. Because wolves who choose their own destiny instead of accepting what fate handed them need witnesses who understand the cost of that choice. Drop a comment sharing what you'd choose if you could rewrite your own fate. Lyra chose herself. Now it's your turn. If Lyra's journey from rejection to power resonated with you, you'll love this book, Rejected by the Alpha. This is a glow-up revenge romance about wolves who refuse to stay broken, about mates who made the wrong choice, and about the kind of power that comes from choosing yourself. The link is in the description because stories like this deserve to be read, and wolves like Lyra deserve witnesses who won't look away.